The Weather Service. As for Indy 500 race weekend, things are trending towards a dry race day. Speaking of, Scott McLaughlin will be leading the Indy 500 field to the green flag come Sunday.
I think we're all just very happy for Roger. It's been a tough few years, obviously not with the at least with the coal speed. You know, a lot of the objective was to bring faster cars, and I think we certainly have.
He turned a 4-lap average, qualifying average of 234.220 miles an hour, which is the fastest pole speed ever. Team Penske also locking out the front row for the race. A man was shot at a busy intersection in Indy on Sunday.
And ran out there. The guy was bleeding, so I ran inside this Mexican restaurant and got some napkins, and another woman was helping him, so we put the napkins on him. I just waited until the cops got here.
Vivana Hickey, who says that she witnessed the shooting in Fountain Square. A semi overturned on an interstate in Pendleton Sunday. Sam Fritz.
The semi overturning on I-69 southbound led to the death of one in Madison County. The crash occurred around 5 a.m. between exit 214 and County Road South 650 West, according to the Indiana Department of Transportation. The cause for the semi's overturn is unknown, but INDOT says that it blocked all lanes on I-69 southbound due to debris on the road. Sam Fritz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
It's onward and upward for the Indiana Pacers.
I just told our team, when you win a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden, you've made history. It's very, very difficult to do.
Head coach Rick Carlisle, they defeated the New York Knicks 130-109 on Sunday, clinching a spot in the Eastern Conference Finals. With that, Indiana turns their attention now to the Boston Celtics. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
South side, Kurt, we are looking at eastbound 465 between 31 and 65. A bus has broken down in the right lane, causing stop traffic back to 31. A little bit beyond that. Now we are moving just a little bit for a 6-minute delay. Once you're through that, you are good to go through the southeast side. Looking at northbound 465 on the east side, stop and go from East 56 to Allisonville Road. Inbound 69 slows from 96 to 465. Traffic sponsored by Direct Auto. Safe Auto Insurance is now Direct Auto Insurance. New name, same flexible payments. Go to directauto.com for a free quote. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
When plumbing problems arise, you need them fixed fast and right. The LD Smith Plumbing crew knows how to put water in its place. We do it all, from the kitchen sink to delicate repairs in historic homes. And we'll always give you honest advice at a fair price. So if you're worried about the cost of plumbing repairs, call today for a free second opinion on a competitor's estimate.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
This May, be a hero at the finish line. Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives reminds you to say yes to organ donation the next time you're at the BMV.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly sunny, hot, and humid heading into the afternoon, a high of around 88. Tonight, partly cloudy, a spotty storm possible, and a low down to 66. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Already 76 degrees on Monument Circle. It's sunny. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits dealer.
Listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, May 20th. It is 7 minutes after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. A beautiful Monday morning, a fantastic weekend in central Indiana. And the Indiana Pacers, they're headed back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Don't plan to slow down either.
What a win yesterday, Casey.
Yes, I know. I just want to roll back the tape from the day that I said they're going to do it in 7.
It is amazing that they were able to go into Madison Square Garden a place where they have struggled so mightily for 3 games and literally getting embarrassed the game before in Madison Square Garden, and to not only win that game, but to beat the hell out of the Knicks. And that still image of Spike Lee with his stupid hat and glasses on with his head in his hands was freaking awesome.
They were the best shooting team in NBA playoff history on Sunday, making 67% of their shots. So the score at the end of the day, 130 over 109. I was nervous for a second there when I saw that it was that close towards the end. I thought, okay, are they going to lose this in the last minute? But they didn't. They held on.
I will say, and obviously I missed, full disclosure, I was keeping track on my cellular telephone. I missed most of the game in person due to the PGA Championship going on. But a dominant performance from start to finish. And it was one of those games where the whole time, and you're seeing people on social media, and it's like, oh my gosh, we have been through this twice now, where there's been this super dominant first half performance, and hey, we're rolling, and man, party central, and everybody's, a Miley Cyrus song over here, and then the bottom falls out in the second half, and that just simply didn't happen yesterday. And look, win, lose, or draw, now it's sort of like you've already won the season based on the expectations set forth by the Pacers, the fact that they now have Siakam, the fact that they have building blocks for the next several years. They kind of have the core of this young team in place. Now, obviously, everybody's cheering for them, to win. However, man, what a victory yesterday, and great on the Pacers. And it was like going back in time, Casey.
So this is Indiana's 9th Eastern Conference final trip since 1990. Only the Lakers, the Spurs, and the Heat have more. And they're really going to have to up their defensive game against Boston, right? Get their offense rolling, get their defense in good standing.
Now, I distinctly remember this. Isn't it weird, the things as a kid that you remember? But I distinctly remember, and this had to be 1994, and I'm sure some expert, Indianapolis expert will clarify to me if I'm wrong on this. But I distinctly remember in 1994, the Pacers and the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the race was the same day. The Indy 500 was the same day as the Knicks and the Pacers were playing in the Eastern Conference Finals or semifinals, one of the two. I'm pretty sure it was the Eastern Conference Finals. And I remember we were the epicenter of the sporting world.
It's going to happen again.
And it is so weird because I remember exactly where I was when all that was going on. I was at my friend's house playing basketball. And it was like I remember the race being on the radio, and then I remember the Pacers being on the television. And for some reason, we were just playing basketball. It's like I think the Knicks Pacers is so much about nostalgia. And it's almost a disappointment that it's over now, because even though they won, which is great, there's not the same lineage or history or hatred with the Celtics that there is the Knicks.
Right.
And so now you're right, Casey. Well, you're not going to get the race and the Pacers playing on the same day.
It will be the same weekend.
You will have the Pacers at home surrounding both Saturday and Monday, which they're guaranteed to have those games, the Indy 500. So Indianapolis, once again, for basically 3 days, sort of becomes the epicenter of the sporting world.
It does. And the Pacers play again coming up on Tuesday. Now, you mentioned the PGA tournament. When we left here, when we were last together on Friday, all of the news was about Scottie Scheffler and that shocking arrest that happened Friday morning. And some of the first images of him in jail have emerged. What other inmates thought about him? Apparently, he was saying that it was bull spit and that he shouldn't be there.
Well, look, the details have come out about this, and it appears that, now there's all sorts of rumors about what's going to be taking place, that if the charges are going to be dropped. That was the big thing that was coming out over the weekend, was that, hey, effective perhaps even by the time we took to the airwaves, which it appears it hasn't happened as of yet, but that there's all sorts of, hey, they could be dropped immediately. His side could potentially be filing, civil lawsuits if they aren't. It appears to be just and the fact there's no body camera.
Yeah.
I mean, that is such an indictment of this police department that this is the exact reason you have these body cameras is so, hey, there's a he said, she said with a police officer. And how many times have we seen this in Indianapolis where these cops have been cleared because, hey, thank goodness there was body cam footage and it showed that they were shot at first or the assailant was the aggressor with them or whatever. To not have that on, it's like, really?
Mm-hmm.
So you have this, just outlandish allegation against this guy, and you don't conveniently have any body cam footage to back it up, which could 100% put the officer in the clear. That's amazing to me.
So Scotty Scheffler did not win the PGA Championship. Xander did. How do you pronounce his last name?
Xander Schauffele.
Yeah.
He stole it from us, Casey.
One away.
He stole it from us.
One away from who? DeChambeau?
DeChambeau. Now,
yeah.
I feel very bad because I took DeChambeau. How about this, Casey?
Mm-hmm.
I got the Masters right. I correctly predicted the winner of the Masters.
Yeah.
Then the PGA, which is the biggest in terms of participants, the biggest major of the year in terms of number of participants, 156 guys in the field. I got to the last guy who was leading going into the last hole, and that no good, dirty, rotten, underhanded Xander Schauffele birdied that last hole. That ball tried to lip out. We were in the money, Casey.
Yep.
And it found the bottom of the cup.
It did not happen for you. Well, do you think that the arrest just threw Scotty Scheffler off his game for the rest of the tournament? He seemed to gather his composure pretty well.
I think it's two things. One, golf is incredibly hard, and the idea that he was going to win another major anyway. I mean, only a handful of guys have ever won multiple majors in the same year. The idea that this guy was going to win all the majors or whatever, that was probably not going to happen anyway. Certainly didn't help. I think he was running on adrenaline the first day, and then he kind of said, look, I woke up the next day and was like, man, I got to talk to my attorney and all these other things, and it really derailed.
Put out my press release.
Damn, my memory is good, by the way, Casey, and I'll come back to this in a second. May 29th of no, it's not good. I'm still not sure if I got this right on when the Indy 500 was. Now I was just getting ready to brag, and I think I may have been actually off and just imagine this in my mind that this took place on a certain day, and I was doing the same thing. I don't know. I'm going to clarify this. However, let me come back to this for a second. Boy, that was terrible radio right there. It was just god-awful radio because I was getting ready to go, ha! And I think
look how amazing I am.
I think over time my mind might have merged that there was a Pacers game in between the Indy 500 like there's going to be coming up this time in 1994. That's what it was. Anyway, let's just say this for a second, and I feel bad because your husband placed a bet on DeChambeau.
Based on what you said.
Based on what I had said.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. I mean, I have nothing to apologize for. There's 156 guys, Casey.
He could have picked whoever he wanted.
In the field.
I think he was just giving you support.
I got to the very last hole with the guy in the lead. He made that incredible putt on 18.
Yeah.
But I do feel bad because we came up one stinking shot short.
Yeah.
And I told my dad.
He said he could have won $400.
Well, he was 28-1. It wasn't like I picked one of the favorites. I mean, it would have been an incredible victory. I do feel bad, and here's why I feel bad. Because in golf, it's called the Grand Slam. Like if you were to win every major in the same year, it's called the Grand Slam. It's never happened. Tiger Woods is the only person to ever get close. He won what was called the Tiger Slam, where he won every major, but it was over a 2-season period. It was going to be called the Robbie Slam if I got the Masters right and then the PGA right. We were going to be halfway to the Robbie Slam, and I was robbed, Casey. That dirty, rotten, no good Xander Schauffele stole it from me and Jim, and I feel terrible.
Sure, he stole it from you. All right, well, here's Scotty Scheffler. He was asked about his week, and here he is summing it up.
Yeah, I think on the golf course, I've always been proud of my toughness out there. I think I love competing. I love, trying to get the most out of my game out here. And, I typically try to keep the off-course life as quiet as possible. And, this week obviously was not that way. And so it was a bit different in that sense. But, I'm proud of how Tate and I went around this week and competed and, was able to post a decent finish towards the end of the week, kind of running on fumes.
I was impressed by the entrepreneurs out there on the golf course who already had the free Scotty T-shirts and hats and all the merch
Casey,
available.
this is crazy. I'm looking at history. Have you ever done this where you're certain you remember something? Like you are certain. I remember this thing happening. And it did indeed not happen. Have you ever had that? Like I am certain. I remember listening to maybe it was qualification. I don't know what it was, but I'm certain I remember listening to the Indy 500 and the Eastern Conference Finals. And I am looking at multiple sources.
Didn't happen.
It did not happen.
You're having a bogus deja vu.
2 years in a row, though, the Pacers played in the Eastern Conference Finals at Market Square Arena around the Indy 500. It was May 27th and May 29th in 1995. The race was on the 28th, and then it was May 28th and May 30th in 1994. The race was on the 29th. How is it possible that I distinctly remember doing that, and apparently it did not happen?
Your memory's shot. It's going in your old age. Okay, so do you remember we were talking about the Sweet and Snack Expo that was held here in Indianapolis? They put out a list of all of the winners in the different categories, and we have to talk about it.
But we got to talk about the race over the weekend, Casey.
Oh, McLaughlin?
Yeah,
getting the pole position?
I mean, it wasn't the actual race, but it was like, this was so compelling. We got to give IndyCar, when we come back, a huge shout out because they have made the whole build up to the Indy 500 incredibly entertaining to the point where even non-race people like me, I was like, hey, this is really interesting. I'm going to, try to watch some of this. They have now made this successfully, basically a weeks-long endeavor of must-see television.
Well, the fast time of the day with Reese Nichols was Scotty McLaughlin, 234 miles per hour. Team Penske going very fast. Of course, he secured the pole position, and he got the fast time of the day. It's 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm BJ Nichols, here with six-time IndyCar champion Scott Dixon.
Flattered to be on the air with you, mate.
Scott, I'm flattered. You're the only driver who's won an IndyCar race in 19 consecutive seasons.
Yeah, but 19 doesn't compare to Reese Nichols' 100 years of five-star service and selection.
It's not a race, Scott.
Actually, it kind of is. I do need an anniversary gift, so can we race back to the store?
Let's do it. That way you can talk with the experts at Reese Nichols Jewelers, Keystone at the Crossing, Greenwood, and at reesenichols.com. Let's celebrate.
An IMPD officer fired his gun and killed someone.
93 WIBC.
Body cam video shows the officer telling the man to stop.
Do the right thing, put the gun down and surrender.
Another news update is minutes away.
You are paying more for hospital care.
Indiana has the 8th highest prices for care at hospitals.
Benefits cost more and more.
On the level, on the go.
McDonald's is waving goodbye to free drink refills.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You could say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time. Plus, you get to choose the color. Upgrade your home today. Galaxy Concrete Coatings, they're for garage floors like what I had done, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call them now for your free estimate, 877-417-0635. You can also find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Grab a frosty mug and try the newest flavor from Bluebell, A&W Root Beer Float Ice Cream. A creamy vanilla-flavored ice cream swirled together with an A&W Root Beer flavored sherbet. A new way to enjoy your favorite root beer float.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at all Meijer stores.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and there's nothing more precious to so many of us than the safety and privacy in our homes. And they are the gathering place for everything from Mother's Day to graduation celebrations. And this is a great time to reach out to Zero Res to clean up your carpets and floors before family and friends show up for everything that's happening in May. So how about having Zero Res help you take on dust, dander, allergens, and even bacteria in your carpets with a great spring deal? Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at just $149 and take 20% off all their other services. Those carpets are the largest air filter in the home, and the ZR Water Difference cleans them up with no soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, leaving everything really clean. The Zero Res service is easy to line up. You can go online at zeroresindy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Now mention WIBC and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $149, plus you'll get 20% off all their other services too. Call 317-388-5141 or book online at zeroresindy.com.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
When you hit the pump, make a better choice for your wallet and for the environment. Fuel up with Indiana-grown corn ethanol blend. Unleaded 88 can be used in virtually every car, while that yellow cap or Flex Fuel logo means you can grab the E85 pump. No matter which one you choose, you're lowering greenhouse gas emissions and your bill to fill. So the next time you get to empty, choose an ethanol blend for your refill. Find a station at incorn.org/ethanol. Message brought to you by Indiana's corn farmers and their checkoff.
Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of our locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product.
Royal Spa.
Heat and cool your man cave, attic, garage, or bonus room without adding ductwork with Mitsubishi Electric ductless mini splits.
To find out more, just go to absolutecomfort.org.
See? Other people remember this too, Casey.
They're remembering wrong. It didn't happen.
But, okay, so last segment, I told everybody we were talking about how Indianapolis is the epicenter of the sports world because now you will have the Indy 500 centered around the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. So the Pacers will play Saturday at home, 500's on a Sunday.
And then Monday.
And then Monday will be the Pacers. And I was saying, I distinctly remember, I remember the guy's house I was at. I remember the guy's name. I remember there was one of these times I said, the only thing that would be greater is if the 500 was on the same day as the Eastern Conference Finals. And I said, I am certain I think it was 1994, maybe it was 95. Pacers were in it 2 years in a row in the Eastern Conference Finals. They lost to the Knicks in 94 and the Magic in 95. See, I remember all these things specifically, Casey. How can I be wrong about this thing that the race was on the same day as the Eastern Conference Finals? Because I remember playing basketball at this guy's house. He was right around the corner from me. And we looked up both of these days and it appeared that did not happen. However, Jacob sent me a message, and here's what Jacob said. Hey, Rob, I'm a daily listener. Appreciate your show. You're not crazy. I remember the same thing. There was a day when people went from the race over to a Pacers playoff game in the same day. I know it happened. See?
Okay, so
he remembers it too.
Well, look, in 1994, it was the Pacers and the Knicks. Okay?
Yes.
Game 3 was on May 28th. Game 4 was on May 30th.
That's right.
Now, in 1995, it was the Pacers and Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
Game 4 was on May 29th. Game 5 was on May 31st. So
that's what I'm saying. Are you going off Wikipedia? Maybe Wikipedia is
No,
wrong.
I'm going off the NBA website.
But there's no way he remembers it too, Casey. And I'm looking.
Are you sure it wasn't just a party over at the field house?
No, I remember there being the IMS radio network being on in the background. I remember this, and the Pacers were on the television.
Who were they playing? Were they playing the Knicks or were they playing the Magic? You remember the house you were at?
Why would Jacob lie? There's no reason. He remembers it too. Somebody out there can clarify this. This had to. Although, why would they schedule an NBA Finals, a conference Finals game on the same day as the Indy 500?
Right. That
doesn't make any sense.
They wouldn't because it didn't happen.
Kurt Darling can clarify this. He's everything
what
racing.
What are we talking about?
I am certain. Now you're a little bit younger. How old are you?
I am 31.
You're
He
way
wasn't
younger.
even born.
Oh, you weren't even born when this happened. Never mind. You're out of this. There's no way you remember this. You would have been like 3. But I am certain there was a day where the Pacers played in the Eastern Conference Finals on the same day as the Indy 500. We have listeners saying this happened.
Yeah, I think it happened. I think it happened in the. It's either 94 or 95.
Thank you, but everybody on the internet is saying it didn't happen.
It did happen. Yes.
He's a legitimate racing broadcaster and is saying it happened. Kurt, your job, not that I'm your boss, but your job, because you are Mr. Racing, by the end of our show today,
Find out which one it was.
Because everything we're seeing here says it didn't happen, but he remembers it. I remember. You're the racing guy, and you're saying it happened. It happened, Casey.
You're declaring it happened.
We're going to get to the bottom of
this.
We'll
find out. We'll find out which one it was, 94 or 95. It's not going to be too hard. We have 2 years to narrow it down.
Yeah, but why is all the internet saying it didn't happen? It happened.
Maybe Wikipedia is
He's
wrong.
He's saying it happened. I heard him on the radio the other day being a broadcaster from the Motor Speedway, and he says it happened.
So, what did happen over the weekend is that Scotty McLaughlin captured the pole position for the 108th Indianapolis 500, clocked into that qualifying speed, 234 miles per hour. That run is the fastest pole speed ever recorded in the history of the Indy 500. Are you getting an answer now?
Well, okay, so people in the YouTube chat, you can watch us on YouTube, are saying in 2013 the Pacers lost to the Heat and the Indy 500 was the same day. Okay.
I actually found it now.
Oh, what is it?
2004.
The Pacers were in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2004.
But they were deep in the playoffs at that point, and so there was a playoff game on the same day as the Indianapolis 500 in 2004.
I was not playing basketball as a 10-year-old kid at Kurt Ron's house in 1990 in 2000. What year? 2004. That did not. I know the guy's house I was at, Casey.
You're mixing memories.
What the hell is going on here? It's like some vortex has altered.
There's a glitch in the Matrix, Rob. It's a glitch.
And he's just making it more complicated.
Well, we're going to turn it over to him, and he will have all his facts straight. It's the news coming up on 93 WIBC.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Rob. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate. For every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. Restrictions apply. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
On the level, on the go.
A new president in Iran. It's 76 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. A helicopter crash kills a handful of key Iranian leaders.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi is dead. Search and rescue teams recovered his body early this morning, along with the bodies of Iran's foreign minister, other officials, and security on board that helicopter. It was yesterday when Raisi's chopper went missing after a trip to see his counterparts at the border of Azerbaijan. State media today are reporting that the chopper slammed into a mountain peak. Supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has appointed Iran's first vice president, Mohammad Mokhbar, as acting president.
Fox's Alex Hogan. Former President Trump again lambasting the judge in his criminal hush money trial.
The judge shouldn't be doing this trial. He's totally conflicted. This is the most conflicted judge probably in the history of the court system. And everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Trump is back in court today after a few days off due to the weekend and his son's high school graduation. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. We're mixed at the opening bell. The Dow is down 6 to 40,131. The NASDAQ up 17 to 18,652. And the S&P 500 is up 2 to 5,330. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
That moment when you realize you have a serious air conditioner issue. A real strip down to your skivvies, no one's sleeping tonight, head in the freezer fail party. But fear not, there's an expert for that.
Let your local experts at Broad Ripple Service Experts keep you cool with $50 off any repair.
Wanna chill? There's an expert for that.
Call Broad Ripple Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS. See website for license details.
That's Faber's Bean Window. Trust me.
Are you thinking about your next home improvement project, but you need more than a window replacement? Whether it's siding, entry doors, or maybe a bath or shower remodel, design it before you buy it. That's right, B's using the latest in technology to create an architectural design so you can see our products on your house before you purchase.
For a limited time, receive 50% off all products plus 12 months, no interest, no payments.
Faber's Bean Window. Trust me.
Hammer and Nigel here. Hammer, this is actually pretty amazing. If you could get a 15% upfront bonus on your money and a competitive return that's averaged 7% a year for the past 10 years, what would you say?
Abso-freaking-lutely. And that's what Bill Demery can offer you right now, a 15% upfront bonus when you invest your money. And what I love about Bill Demery, I've met with him. He can explain this stuff in a way that I can understand. He breaks it down, and it's so easy, Nige.
You know, there's a lot of advisors on this station, but we only put our name on one advisor that we trust, both of us, and that's Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
Help take care of your hard-earned money and reach out to Bill Demery right now. 317-648-5120. Ask about the 15% upfront bonus. 317-648-5120. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Lots of administrators, lawmakers, law enforcement officers all across the state got some mail, and it was from the Secretary of State. It was a big white cardboard box, and inside a 180-page document. It was a, quote, new addition to the Library of Election Guides produced and distributed by the State of Election Administrators.
Oh, my gosh.
They mailed out 600 of these guides, and they are to let everybody know how to run an election.
This Diego Morales, if you voted for him, you can just send your apology to 40 Monument Circle, and maybe we'll just have a day where all the people who bought his bull crap, despite our begging and pleading, where we just read your cathartic email of how bad you feel for buying this guy's bull crap. So they spent, Diego spent, it's like more than $35,000 on these stupid booklets where he's basically asserting to the people who run county elections, hey, you're too stupid to figure this out on your own, even though you've successfully been figuring this out on your own for decades. I'm going to print up these finely printed. I mean, this is not like thin copy paper on how to run an election. Casey, as someone who has run elections, as someone who is a former precinct committeeman and also a poll worker, the clerk, I think is what I was called, and was responsible for getting people to work the polls as a precinct committeeman, this is such a colossal waste of money. And what pisses me off about this is the state will have the audacity to say, well, we'd love to help you out with property taxes, the gas tax, or whatever else. But, hey, there's no money. There's just no money. Remember Holcomb said in 2020, well, we've cut to the bone in state government. This guy had $35,000 laying around to tell people who already know how to do their jobs how to do their jobs. This guy jettisons off to foreign countries for no apparent reason. These are why people hate government, Casey. These are the things that just make your blood boil because there's no reason for our money to have been wasted on something like this.
Secretary Morales firmly believes there is no price tag when it comes to the safety of our election workers. That's the quote. So each booklet cost $45 to print. It came with a lanyard with a whistle and a little card.
Oh, a whistle.
Mm-hmm.
That's stopping election interference.
Well, because you're going to be a whistleblower, and that lanyard and whistle cost $1.45.
Oh.
Packing and shipping cost approximately $12. So each one of these 600 guides was $58.45 each.
Okay, let's review how elections actually work and how if you do things right, and let's pause for a moment. Let's make a note here. It's 9:37 on Monday, May the 20th. I'm going to say something nice about Todd Rokita.
Okay.
And Todd Rokita's signature accomplishment is the voter ID law. When he was Secretary of State, that was his thing, and that has done immense good for elections in the state of Indiana. If you make someone show an ID and you enforce that and your election systems are not hooked up to the internet, it's basically impossible to defraud an election, right? Elections get defrauded if you were to have something hooked up to the internet and someone could hack into it, or if you have mass mail-in unaccountable voting where you just send ballots to people and you have no idea who fills them out or sends them back in. If you make someone show up to the poll and say, here's my ID and here's my signature, and you make them sign the thing and the signature matches and the picture looks like the person, it is basically impossible to defraud the election system. And he knows this.
Well, it looks to me like a big portion of this is the safety of the election workers. And they said that 7 in 10 respondents said that they felt threats against election officials, that's increased since 2020. So this is maybe a guide of how to be safe and who to report this to.
Call the police. Like, that's how it works. Do you feel you're being threatened? Again, someone who has been the greeter, right? Like, who's been the person, you must check in. I can think of I did it, 3, 4, maybe 5 election cycles. Maybe 1 or 2 people in the entire time that I thought was getting belligerent. And I said, look, here's the deal. Here's how it works. You got 2 options. You can do this procedure, or we can have Harry Sheriff come here and explain it to you in person, and you're going to like that less than me doing it. Like, that's how this works. There is not a plethora of Indiana poll workers who show up on Election Day thinking they're in fear for their safety. It's simply not happening, and it certainly is not warranting $35,000 of taxpayer money. But it is a reminder, first of all, how full of crap Diego Morales is, and what a giant, colossal... I can't say that on these airwaves, nope. Casey. What a just a disappointment. I mean, everybody should be disappointed in this guy, but it is also a reminder when the government tells you there's no money, or we've cut everywhere, or we've, trimmed all the fat, or we've cut to the bone, like Holcomb said. This guy had $35,000 laying around to send these finely printed, the whistles. Let's just start with the whistles. Let's take the paper out of the equation.
Yeah.
What'd you say the whistle cost? The Capitol Chronicle had a big expose on this.
$1.45.
Okay, so I'm going to try to do I can't do math in my head, but I'm going to do it on my handy-dandy cellular telephone. Remember in class, Casey, when they told you need to know how to do this because you won't always have a calculator. 145 times 600, is that right?
Yeah.
600. So just on the whistles, $870 on whistles, Casey. Let's just pretend that the printed booklets are a valid expense. The whistles?
Yeah.
What, so you're going to blow a whistle at somebody?
Yeah.
What are you, Teddy Valentine, calling a technical foul? Are we going to give referee shirts to the poll workers next?
They had to do something to get people's attention. I'm more surprised about the shipping costs. The packing and shipping, $12 per guide. I mean, this is a government. You'd think that if franked mail is free, you'd think that these would be free.
Diego probably had some professional courier service with white gloves walking over to these people.
Do you think his name is on it?
Do you think his name is on it, Casey? This is the same guy who walked around the state with checks with money that came from the federal government and put his name on the checks. Do you think his name is on it?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, we have a couple of things we need to remind people about. Tomorrow,
Yeah.
Kevin actually did some work. It's amazing.
He did.
Kevin survived a bear attack, which we're going to get into in a little bit.
Yep, we'll get into that.
And while he was surviving a bear attack, did some extra work. Who is on our show tomorrow, Kevin?
We've got Stingray Rob coming back to the show, and he's going to be in the studio.
Fantastic.
I love that. So Stingray Rob will be with us tomorrow. That's our guy. He did qualify for the 500, and that's our dude.
Right.
And we're going to wager heavily again on Stingray
I was going to say,
Rob.
you're going to bet on him, no pressure. Don't tell him that while he's here. It'll make him nervous. He's young.
Yeah. He's going 225 miles an hour. But
and your dollar bet.
But Rob Kendall's dollar bet is what's going to do it in for him. You know, he's going to be at the starting line going, oh man, I've got millions of dollars behind this team.
I better not mess up, or Rob will be let down.
Rob Kendall's going to be out $1.
That's right.
Okay, so we got Stingray Rob tomorrow on the show.
Yeah.
And then we got a big event tonight.
You do, don't you?
Well, you're going to be there.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Oh.
I got a thing tomorrow.
Yeah, we got the big thing for Micah tonight in Zionsville. You know, it's one of those fancy places.
I know. Is it like rubber chicken dinner? What's going on there?
Oh, they probably will have some sort of hors d'oeuvre or something, ready to go.
And Mike is going to speak. Are you going to speak?
Well, they told me they'd have a PA system ready for me.
Fantastic. Okay.
Anyway, so a lot of things going on and a lot of events, and you're going to be out tomorrow.
I am. Actually, Jim Merritt's going to be here with you tomorrow.
Jim Merritt is going to be here.
And Stingray Rob.
It's Stingray Rob. Maybe we'll just make Stingray Rob the co-host for hour 3.
You should totally do that. I wonder, how much time does he have? Did he say? Is he going to have all morning?
He's got 7 minutes.
I think, we're probably going to have 7 or 8
He's got 7 minutes.
Just like a minute. Did you see that LeBron James was in town over the weekend? He was in Westfield at a basketball court. Well, we're going to talk about it coming up.
Oh, no.
Okay?
Can we talk about Kevin's bear attack, too?
You're very concerned about this.
Well, you didn't even send it to me.
Oh, I just sent that video to you about 10 minutes ago.
That doesn't do me any good now. I already saw it from her. It happened over the weekend. You could have been dead.
I feel special.
Casey was the one telling me to watch out for bears, so I told her. I sent it to her.
Yes, we'll talk about Kevin's bear attack coming up from 93 WIBC.
Monday on the Tony Kinnett Cast, Chicago is the worst. Should Indiana just conquer Illinois and push the Windy City into Lake Michigan? Yes, it should. Tune in at 7 p.m. right here or the podcast anytime.
Spring has sprung, the weather's nice, and maybe you're looking around your house going, I got to make some renovations to this place, and maybe you're starting in the bathroom. If that's you, you got to call my friends at the Bath Authority because they've got an incredible deal going on right now. Call today, 317-532-5711. That's 317-532-5711. And when you schedule your free in-home estimate, the Bath Authority is going to take $1,500 off a new shower or bath. Plus, it gets better than that $1,500 off. 36 months of interest-free financing. Now, some restrictions apply. So to get all the information, call the Bath Authority today at 317-532-5711. Whether it's walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more, the Bath Authority does it all. See for yourself, thebathauthority.com, thebathauthority.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies.
Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck.
I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services,
No,
even
but-
for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters ASE technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No, but-
Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Don't miss Tire Discounters Savor the Summer Sale. Details at tirediscounters.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up?
I'm tired of feeling so bloated.
That used to be me. Then I got this.
Align bloating relief plus food digestion. A probiotic, right?
Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align Bloating Relief plus Food Digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Learn more at alignprobiotics.com.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
Casey, there is so much going on in the studio today. It's a Monday. There's a million things over the weekend.
Circus in here.
We've got what appears a violation of a theory of 2 that we have now engaged in. And more important than that, I mean, that really consumed my last break. I've been doing a deep dive and trying to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
On why 2 people who seemingly likely don't really match up are together.
Yeah.
And you're trying to help me out on this a little bit.
Oh,
too.
I've got the answer to that.
However, we have to pause that for a second because Kevin was attacked by a bear this weekend.
Bear attack. He sent me a video of this, and you seemed a little jealous that you didn't get.
I don't understand why
the
she
text.
got it and I didn't get it.
On Friday, well, I guess it would have been Wednesday, the day before I left to go to this trip. Casey told me to watch out for bears.
Right.
You were being flippant.
Well, yeah. I didn't think you'd really see a
But
bear.
you had been to Gatlinburg, and I
Well,
thought,
I
okay,
have.
you've seen bears up close, so
no,
you're warning
I
me.
haven't seen a bear up close.
Okay,
but
let's just pause for a second. Let everybody know what we're talking about. So you were out Thursday and Friday, Kevin.
Right.
You went to some sort of bachelor party.
Yeah, it was a
in the
bachelor
woods.
party for a good friend of mine. It was down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Okay, and you hid in the woods. Is that what you did at this bachelor party?
We had an Airbnb. It was a pretty nice Airbnb. It was like 2 stories.
Looked like a multi-story. Was it like a log cabin-y type
yeah,
of?
kind of like a lodge kind of style.
Yeah.
And I was there with like 15 other friends. And we were
Okay,
just-
so
from what I could see, it looked really nice.
you had told him flippantly.
Well, I mean, it was just kind of like a, hey, have fun, safe travels. Don't get have a run-in with a bear.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you sent Casey a video of. Now, you didn't send it to me, so I don't know. I'm just going off Casey's phone that she was holding up for me. It looked like the bear approached the house.
Yeah, so we actually saw a few bears come up to the property. And in this particular case,
That's petrifying.
Yeah, it was. We were chilling upstairs. We're drinking some brews and just kind of shooting the breeze. And then one of our buddies went downstairs because he left his shoes on the patio.
Yeah.
There was like a walkout basement and then a patio. And he left his shoes outside. And so he went downstairs to get his shoes. And then all of a sudden we hear him yell, "There's a bear, there's a bear."
Yeah.
And so we all grabbed our beers and we ran down there.
And he did it without a whistle. He didn't even have a whistle. He was just able to tell people there was a bear. He didn't even need a Diego whistle.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't scare it away because they're afraid of noise, apparently.
Casey is showing
I'm trying
the video. It looks like there's a food bowl right there.
No,
What is
that's
that?
the shoe.
Oh,
No,
that's the shoe.
So he left his shoes out there.
What kind of bear was this?
So this was a black bear, an American black bear, and it was a pretty
Kevin
small.
gets on his phone and starts researching.
Yeah, I was researching the species and everything.
It's
and
smaller. Now, my concern would have been usually where there is a smaller bear, there's a
mama bear.
A bigger bear.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the mama bear we actually saw another day out in front of the house.
2 bears?
Yeah. Well, we actually saw 3 total. We saw one outside of a brewery in town. and
Wait. What do you mean you saw one outside of a brewery? Like, what was he waiting on service? Or?
We were just sitting there in the brewery and we looked outside and there was a storefront next to it, and he was like wandering around. It was another smaller black bear.
They're like
wandering
geese
around
down there. They just hang out everywhere.
And the best was when someone ran up with some pots and pans and started hitting them to scare it away.
Yeah.
Whoa, time out. There's a bear.
Yeah.
And even if it's a baby bear, it's a bear. And the response to that was not smash it with a baseball bat. It wasn't like a bazooka or a flamethrower
No, you don't
or
need
something
to
out of
do
a
that.
Rambo film.
Make noise.
It was.
Yeah,
Casey, I've seen videos of bears mauling people to
Well,
death.
you're talking about a brown bear or a grizzly bear.
I'm not taking a risk. I don't care if it's Yogi Bear.
Yeah.
Now, black bears, you don't want to hurt those.
You can be like 7-8 feet tall when it stands up.
Wait, you
Really? I didn't know that.
witnessed someone take pots and pans and go shoo bear, shoo.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah, he ran away. See, they're not really as big of a threat to people. Now, if you mess with it, I'm sure.
Well, clanging pots and pans, isn't that kind of messing with it?
Yeah, but they're afraid of the pots and pans. They don't like the noise, is what Casey told me.
Right. So you just got to make a lot of noise and yell, and it should scamper away, run away.
Yeah, because you don't want the bear around people when they're drinking.
Were
and
you
stuff.
leaving food out? Like what?
No, we didn't leave any food out. We were actually pretty clean. Now, I think when my friend left his shoes out there, he probably
little stinky shoe.
Yeah, a stinky shoe probably brought him to the yard.
Right.
And so how did you get rid of the bear? Did
Well,
you just let it mosey around?
In the one at our house, the one that was on the patio, he just kind of he started to walk away, and then we opened the door and went outside, and we watched him walk away. He's about 20 feet away from us, and he started going up these steps to go up to the front yard, and then he heard us and turned around and just sat there and watched us for about 10 minutes. And
I have to imagine that
petrifying.
Well, those bears there, they have to be used to humans.
I think so, because he seemed pretty chill around us. It wasn't anything that fazed him, but we really had a moment for about 10 minutes. We're just staring into this bear's eyes. It was beautiful.
This brings a whole new level to the man or bear conversation. Right?
Yeah, no, is that a TikTok trend? You said that.
Wait, what?
Oh, there's this whole conversation for women. Would they rather be in the woods alone with a man or a bear?
In this case, there's 15 guys.
15 guys.
Yeah.
And one bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys were a little scared.
But
weren't
I'm not concerned about the bear. I am concerned about the other bears. Like, there's not just a bear. That bear's not just
by itself.
It's just roaming around the
especially
the
a littler
wilderness.
bear.
Well, that's what we kind of realized when we went outside. We were like, oh, the mama bear has got to be watching us right now.
Absolutely. It's like the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Or Bundy or, BTK.
I would say
being followed.
Yeah,
this was not a baby bear. This was maybe an adolescent bear.
I think so.
Because it wasn't a cub.
It wasn't a cub.
No. It didn't look like a cub.
Because it's big enough to be intimidating.
What expertise do you have on bears?
I can
She knows a
see
lot.
it. I can
What are
tell.
you? What are you? A Nat Geographic correspondent now?
I've seen pictures of cubs before, and this is much bigger than a cub bear.
Here's the thing with me and the animals. Just leave me alone. Like, I'm not going to engage them. I mean, I think you handled it with great class and grace that you guys didn't set some sort of Home Alone type trap for the bear to be captured into, because that is petrifying.
Yeah, we didn't pour any honey all over the place.
like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
No, yeah.
It looks like this place had an outdoor fireplace. Did it? That looks really nice.
Yeah, it actually had a few fireplaces. There was actually a hot tub next to that bear, too, which I wanted to get into that hot tub all weekend, but I was scared because I didn't want a bear to come up while
You
I
didn't
was
want to be
in
out there, right?
Yeah.
See, you didn't get the full experience because you were afraid of a bear. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Were
serious.
Were there any women in this village that you went to, or was it just 15 guys?
We were in a small village in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
We went out on the town one night, but we were not out very long. We were mostly watching the Pacers game.
So you missed a real opportunity. All 15 of you should have come into town, gone to the first drinking establishment you found, walked in there, and emphatically said, "We're here for the women. We've come for your women."
Yeah, well, a lot of those guys are married, and
That
or
probably wouldn't have gone
engaged.
over very well. For all you know, this was a female bear. So the ladies were
Well, it's a
coming to
mammal.
him.
It wouldn't have been hard to check, Casey.
There you go.
I think Kev probably knows how to do that.
I'm glad you're back safely and unharmed.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and I'm one of the city's biggest fans of Zero-Res because they clean my carpets and floors with care and expertise like no one else. Zero-Res, as in zero residue, uses the patented ZR water that cleans things without the dirt-attracting soaps and chemicals that other carpet cleaners use. For me, I'm the ZR water fan because there's no soap, no residue, and no harsh chemicals. And it's not just me. Check out the 4,500 raving customer reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating. During the month of May, you can get 3 rooms zero resified starting at just $149 and take 20% off all the other services. Companies coming for Mother's Day and graduations. It's a great time to do it. The Zero-Res service is easy to line up, and you can go online at zeroresindy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Now mention WIBC. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at $149, plus you'll get 20% off all their other services. Call 317-388-5141. Book things online at zeroresindy.com.
It's more important than ever to hire the right agent to sell your home to maximize its sales price. That's why I recommend Mark Dietl. Mark and his team have the plan and experience to sell your home fast for maximum cash. Perhaps you're worried about settling for less money with the lowball instant offer. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Dan and Casey in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietl. We were ready to downsize, and we needed to sell quickly. To make it all work, we needed to get a great price, fast, of course. Mark Dietl made it happen. We got our asking price fast without any repairs or an appraisal. The Mark Dietl team delivered exactly what we needed. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold, or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl, 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, it's Rob. I chose We Grow Hair Indy for 3 reasons. 1, they offer a free evaluation. 2, that evaluation showed me what procedure would restore my hair. Here's Darren Andrews with number 3.
We're one of only 2 clinics in the entire country to offer the Artist Robotic FUE procedure and the multi-unit hair grafting procedure. The best procedure can give you the best results.
Call 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's 317-522-2995.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Visit redcrossblood.org today.
This May, you can be a hero at the finish line. Say yes to organ donation and talk to your family about your decision. A message from Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Ryan Hedrick breaks down the forecast both for this week and for race day, plus who grabbed the pole for this year's Indianapolis 500, and they silenced the doubters. The Pacers are on to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
This might be Michael Cohen's last day on the witness stand. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. At former President Trump's trial in New York.
So far in this trial, Cohen has admitted, quote, he lied to a federal judge, lied to Congress, lied to FBI agents.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court.
The only witness the defense may call is Bradley Smith. Smith is an election law expert and former chairman of the Federal Election Commission.
Now, a short time ago, lawyers argued over that testimony, with the judge putting strict limits on what Smith could say. The former president is charged with falsifying records, reimbursing Cohen for paying to keep an alleged affair quiet ahead of the 2016 election. The former president said before going into the court this morning,
"What's missing? A crime. There's no crime. You know, they go through all this stuff, and there was nothing done wrong."
The Supreme Court has just declined to intervene in a challenge to Maryland's ban on so-called assault rifles. The case is still before a lower appeals court as gun owners fight the ban as a breach of their Second Amendment rights. Israel and Hamas called out at the International Criminal Court. The chief prosecutor wants arrest warrants for leaders on both sides, alleging war crimes in Gaza. Fox's Trey Yingst reports from Tel Aviv.
From Hamas, we are talking about Mohammed Def, Yahya Sinwar, and Ismail Haniyeh, the men believed to be the masterminds behind the October 7th massacre. On the Israeli side, we're talking about Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the country's defense minister. We're already getting reaction from top Israeli politicians who are calling this an abomination. They are saying this is ridiculous.
Hamas also denouncing the prosecutor's war crimes allegation, saying it equates the victim with the executioner. Iran is in mourning with the first vice president appointed to replace President Ibrahim Raisi, who died in a helicopter crash, along with Iran's foreign minister. Republican Congressman Michael Waltz tells Fox,
good riddance to Raisi. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference.
Because Waltz says Iran's supreme leader rules the country. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Wet and then dry. Radar is clear for now. It is sunny and 77 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Severe storms expected in Indiana midweek. Ryan Hedrick reports.
For right now, the biggest threat appears to be strong winds.
If you're looking at late Tuesday night or pre-dawn Wednesday, that's more upper Wabash Valley, Lafayette area. And then as you get into the day Wednesday, then the threat's more across all of central Indiana.
Alex McGinnis of the National Weather Service says as far as the weather outlook for the Indianapolis 500 Sunday, he's not too concerned about rain, but forecasters will have a more definitive picture in the next couple of days. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Speaking of the 500.
Number 4 in the books, it is 233.816, the four-lap average, 234.220. Scott McLaughlin grabs the pole.
Meaning McLaughlin will lead the field to the green flag come Sunday. It's the fastest pole speed ever, leading in all Team Penske front row. Rookie Nolan Siegel was bumped from the field. Murder charges for a man from Bloomington in Lawrence County. Timothy Helton is in jail there, arrested on Saturday after deputies found two people shot at a home in Bedford. One of them ended up dying at the hospital. State Treasurer Daniel Elliott has authorized the purchase of more Israeli bonds, which means Indiana is buying some of Israel's debt and getting a pretty good rate of return. Elliott says Hoosiers have a duty to support Israel at the moment.
Israel is an ally. They have been an ally. When we had 9/11, they were there to support us. And I feel like we need to be doing the same thing for Israel.
On All Indiana Politics, he says the funds used in the purchase are not going towards Israel's war effort against Hamas. The Indiana Pacers were able to get it done.
It doesn't really matter what anybody thinks except for the people in our travel party, 70, 80 people who come. Because I don't think anybody here picked the Pacers to win the series, but it happened.
I have picture proof.
Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner beating the New York Knicks 130-109 in a decisive Game 7. They have the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The great vehicles are at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, and they are your EV headquarters. You should shop the Moore selection. Head to Andy Moore Ford or AndyMooreFord.com. Shop the EV models like the Mustang Mach-E, which I've driven, the E-Transit, the F-150 Lightning, which is incredible. All in stock with more arriving daily. Check out More Power. The Ford Mustang Mach-E combines the iconic Mustang heritage with the benefits of an electric vehicle. Not just efficient, incredibly stylish, it's an exhilarating driving experience. But you need more room, more versatility out of your vehicle. The all-electric F-150 Lightning has you covered with seating for up to 5, intelligent backup power, and onboard power for all your tools and gear. This is the all-electric truck that is built for it all. Visit my friends down at Andy Moore Ford, and they'll help make the switch to an EV easier than ever. Check them out on Main Street in Plainfield or online at Andy Moore Ford, MOHR. Shop anytime online, AndyMooreFord.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Grab a frosty mug and try the newest flavor from Bluebell, A&W Root Beer Float Ice Cream. A creamy vanilla-flavored ice cream swirled together with an A&W Root Beer flavored sherbet. A new way to enjoy your favorite root beer float.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at Walmart Supercenters and Walmart Neighborhood Markets.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, May 20th, 6 minutes after 10 with Kendall and Casey.
You're reading the time and telling people what the date is, and this could be the last segment of this radio show?
Final thoughts?
So there is some sort of... This happened about 2 minutes ago. There are these sirens that are blowing throughout our building. It is some 1984 sounding guy saying everyone needs to get immediately to the nearest exits.
Don't use the elevators. Use the stairs.
Of course, we're on the air. We asked our boss, David Wood, do we need to go? He said, no, you'll be fine. Just keep going.
He said, go down with the ship.
We're like the band on the Titanic. Gentlemen, let's keep playing. And now every other coworker on this floor is sprinting. Look, one guy just ran. I don't know if that was Mark Dykton or who that was sprinting past. There's Hammer.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Oh, it's a false alarm! You suckers fell for it!
Who pulled the fire alarm? Somebody's trying to get out of mandatory.
Jason Hammer is here. Maybe
sensitivity
he can
training.
Provide some insight into what was that? Some angry Knicks fan who was enraged at our opening segment here.
I was just going to tell everybody that the gun guy killed the gunman, and we're all safe already. So,
well, hello.
Somebody was just trying to get out of sensitivity training.
We walked down the
alarm.
stairs. We got to the first floor, and then like everybody, bunch of people I don't know. False alarm, and we all went back.
Well, that's pretty like 1984-esque, right? That there's some unidentified, dreary-sounding man telling you sprint to the nearest, exit. Do not use the elevator. That seemed very specific.
Yeah, it did.
And Casey, you weren't here for the 2016 presidential election. This would happen all the time. There'd be certain threats to this building. Bomb threat, this, that, an evil letter. Like, it was wild. Remember, right?
Yeah.
Because you were working with the chicks, I believe.
I had not I was the fill-in guy. I was like part-timey, whatever. And yes, the simpler times. Now I blame Garrison for most of that.
Yes.
Now, when I came in this morning, there was somebody who was power washing the deck out on the fourth floor, and they were blowing bubbles everywhere. And I thought, oh, this is like a rave up in here. And now we've got the strobe light going. So it's been an interesting morning
Turn
here.
on the Raju Sandstorm dance mix, and let's get this party started.
Okay, so we're okay. So we can do our show.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you at 10:45.
Sounds good.
Very good.
I was curious. You were trying to lock the doors, and I'm thinking,
the door doesn't lock.
I'm thinking, no, I want to leave, actually.
No,
Why are you trying to lock me in?
No, there was some assailant. Like, that is double pane, whatever.
Bulletproof glass.
Bulletproof, whatever.
Yeah. I love how Kurt Darling walked in and said, I'm staying.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving until they tell me to leave.
Yeah.
I think that's what the alarm was for.
I was pulling a George Costanza. I was pushing everyone out of the way.
You were. I love it. What is wrong with you?
Did we have a segment for this?
We did.
Topic for this segment?
We did. And believe it or not, it involves security. The TSA complaints at the Indy airport are on the rise.
Oh, no.
Yep, people are complaining their way through security. So the airport ranked 52nd out of 103 major airports in the country for the number of complaints.
What was the rank?
52nd out of 103.
So like right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's really interesting because, obviously Indianapolis International Airport gets all sorts of acclaim and is always winning these awards and, it's the best of this and the best. And I mean, you hear this from people who are from here, people who are not from here, but apparently there was one little chink in the armor that we have, discovered.
And it was the TSA. So they've logged 779 complaints for every 10,000 passengers. And that's up from 189 complaints in previous years. And so TSA, they say they now have this 3D imaging, which no longer requires you to have your electronics or liquids removed from your carry-on. They can just scan right through. So they're saying that hopefully this will expedite the process with these new scanners, which will result in fewer complaints.
Well, look, you know me and my thing on, the airport. If you told me, Rob, you've got to, run through flaming hot coals, or you've got to spend, an entire day in the Arctic wilderness somewhere, or you have to get on an airplane, I'm probably taking the fiery hot coals or the Arctic wilderness, because getting on an airplane is just awful, and then you actually have to fly on the airplane, which is also awful. So I don't feel any sympathy for any of you people.
Getting on that plane. The TSA is just the first step of a long, horrible process, right?
The last time I got on an airplane, my wife got very mad at me for doing this. She was behind me when you go, there's like 9 stages of hell to get on the airplane. And it's like playing a video game. Every time you think you've made it to the end of the game,
next level,
there's some other guy you've got to go through. And at one point, and you know me, like I'm always, I'm an instigator, Casey.
Well, as you're saying that, I'm realizing you're the reason that there's the double pane bulletproof glass here in the studio.
I'm a notorious rule follower, but I try to find humor in things. And we were going through, I don't know, stage 1 of 93 or 2 of 93 or whatever it was, and she was behind me. And after I got through the full cavity search that, whatever stage that was, I looked and said, she's the one you're really going to want. She's wanted in several states.
Oh, don't joke around with that.
She didn't find that funny at all.
I don't think
you're going to blah, 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 blah. Oh, we don't have to get on the airplane? Great. I would have tried harder.
I tried to get on a plane once with pepper spray. I didn't realize I had it with me. I was like one of those people going to Turks and Caicos who had ammo in their bag. I had pepper spray with me.
I don't, this may shock some people.
Yeah.
And Mock and I used to have this conversation all the time. I don't actually mind the thorough stuff to get on the airplane because my thing is, 1, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And 2, you don't have to do it. And 3, if we got to get on the death tube, like if you're in a giant missile thousands of feet in the air and you at any given moment could cause death and calamity, not only to the patrons on the airplane, but also the general public at large, I think you should. Because maybe if fewer people flew, it would be a better experience for everyone. And maybe the way to get fewer people to fly...
Make it a harder process.
So I actually don't mind. As libertarian and as anti-government as I am, if you are silly and stupid enough to get on one of those human missiles, then you should have a little pain and suffering in the process.
It is 14 after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So now more consumers saving their workday lunch money to burn it when they're off the clock.
Wait, what?
So, a lot of people like to go out to lunch during the workday, right?
Sure.
But now more people they're not doing that, and they're saving their money for when they're off the clock for the weekend. Because of inflation.
They're just simply not eating?
Well, they're not going out to lunch. More people are packing their lunch when they come into work.
The thing about packing your lunch, though, Casey, it used to be that was a great way to save money. But with the price of everything, I don't know if it's that much cheaper.
It's not working out for anybody.
I went to the Kroger's last night because I had to get baby food.
Yeah.
And my baby, because heaven forbid she save me any money whatsoever.
She doesn't have a job yet.
Eats this specific brand of baby food that clearly is made in a gold factory somewhere. And you can only get it at like Kroger and Target.
I was going to ask you, why did you go to the Kroger and not the Walmart?
They don't have it they don't have it at the Walmart.
And they don't sell it in bulk at Costco, huh?
And so I had to go there. And I thought while I was there, I would like to get me one of those rotisserie chickens that, you get a little rotisserie chicken. And
Hot chicken, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get 3 or 4 meals out of them. And Casey, do you want to take a guess? The rotisserie chicken used to be $4.
Yeah.
I remember when the rotisserie chicken was $4.
Would you pay $5.99?
I didn't pay anything because I saw the price of the
one.
rotisserie chicken. I said,
What
I'll go to bed hungry.
Yeah.
$7.99.
Wow. Yeah. That's inflation for you, right? And I bet the chicken's smaller.
Yes.
Shrinkflation.
It was like, what? I walked out of there saying, what is happening?
Were you able to get the baby food, though?
I was able to get the baby food.
Uh-huh.
I thought about not getting the baby food, but I thought that sounds like something that is going to have an investigator show up at my house if I just tell my kid, you can tough it out for a day or two.
No, you don't want the baby going to bed hungry.
Well, the serious question, all this, though. How are people supposed to continue to afford to live? Like, like you are reaching a point where it is, and afford any sort of decent food. I guess that's probably, the better question. How are you supposed to, come on. That's almost double the price of a, and then I'm looking at some of these other things and it's like, oh my gosh, like there was a little, I don't know, a box of shrimp, and it was like $10 for a little box of shrimp. And I was trying to think, okay, like how many meals could I get out of that? And this is crushing people, Casey.
Make it stretch. So a lot of restaurants are now starting to introduce more lunchtime specials, more drink specials, all in an effort to get people back into eating out during the workday.
Kevin, it has been a very long time since I've been to a bar for any sort of social anything. Like what you went recently at this bear-infested bachelor party that you went to.
Yeah, I went to a couple.
What is a beer now? Like I would like a...
I actually didn't buy a single drink. My friends were just handing me shots and mixed drinks.
Worth the bear confrontation.
But I don't know. Maybe it's like $5
for a beer,
for a draft,
for a beer.
Maybe not.
Like
maybe not for a draft.
Well, it used to be $3. Like, and you go to a bar. There's a premium price inserted in there that you accept you're going to pay. But I wonder how people even afford to be social anymore.
Yeah. Well, there's a new thing going on at Wendy's that we have to talk about. They have this obscenely large bucket of chicken nuggets, and it's actually cheaper to buy that than the smaller version.
Really?
Yeah. We'll break it down for you, okay?
Well, let's do it.
Okay. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
We would listen to the race on the radio.
My brother and I would always end up in the back of a station wagon. We'd get to listen to the race, looking out back.
Can't watch the race on TV, it would be blacked out.
The magic of May.
We would listen to the race on the radio.
The traditions.
The race could be heard throughout the entire house.
The guys on the IMS radio network are the absolute best.
The memories.
We would go camping sometimes and listen to the race on the radio.
For more than 70 years, your home of the Indianapolis 500. 93 WIBC.
Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com. No inspection, no fuss. We only need to see it once. The IndyHomebuyer.com. Problem properties, tenants don't pay. Just hand us the keys and your problems go away. Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com. Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com.
No matter your reason for selling, theindyhomebuyer.com will pay cash for your house in any condition. If you're dealing with deadbeat tenants, big repairs, or inheritance, theindyhomebuyer.com is the solution. No hassle, no inspections. Theindyhomebuyer.com.
Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com. Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com.
Summer's almost here and you know what's coming. Mom, I'm bored. You've already been to the library, the park, the swimming pool, but it's 6 p.m. and there's a lot of daylight left. Let Life Church help you get your summer started off right. Bring your kids to one of our vacation Bible schools beginning at 6 p.m. on June 3rd. They'll make new friends, play fun games, learn new music, and learn truth about Jesus. What a better way to start off summer. Go to lifechurchin.com for more.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years. and helps keep central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Didn't happen.
It didn't happen. I manifested that in my mind.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So you thought at one point in your life that an NBA playoff game happened on the same day as the Indy 500, in which the Pacers played in.
So if you missed the first hour, I opened the show. We were talking about, hey, Indianapolis now becomes the epicenter of the sporting world. You've got the Pacers playing in the Eastern Conference Finals on what would that be? That'd be Saturday and Monday. You've got the race on Sunday. And I said, something to the effect of, the only thing I can remember being bigger was there was a day as a kid in either 94 or 95 where the race was on the same day as the finals game. And I remember this specifically because I remember playing basketball, listening to the race and the game being on. We had a listener who confirmed that happened. Other listeners in the YouTube chat appear to confirm that happened. However, to the credit of the WIBC news staff, Kurt Darling has spent the past hour not tending to any other news stories, but trying to either prove or disprove.
Risking his life with the fire alarm going off.
Right, that's why he kept working.
Yeah.
He was like Captain Smith or whatever that guy's name was on the Titanic. And he has simply said, and I will accept his analysis, this did not happen. Which means it's not like I didn't say I think it happened. I didn't say, I'm pretty sure I remember. I mean, I definitively remember in my mind right now that this took place, and I don't
Are you sure it wasn't just like a practice day you were listening to, or?
Now, Kurt was saying it could have been qualifications that I was listening to because I used to do it on Saturday, and maybe that was it. But that is so weird how, me, Casey, truth, justice, and the American way is my creed.
Well, you've talked many times how your mind is like a file cabinet, right? Apparently, you put some papers in the wrong folder.
I wonder if, because over the years I've had so much great stuff to give to people, if I accidentally, in an effort to try to make our government better or whatever, put an extra thing or two in there. And that is one of the things. It didn't get pushed out because I was somewhat close.
Yeah. This calls into question all of your memories, actually.
Yeah, I think you might just be recalling an old dream. Sometimes
Kevin, I remember the basketball game.
I'll recall memories, and I don't know whether it was a dream or a reality. So I think that could be the case.
Now, Kurt did say in 2004 and 2013, this did happen. Like, definitively, the Pacers.
Yeah, but you weren't young.
Right,
that's
the thing. I was not 10 years old.
Whose house were you at?
Kurt Ron's house.
Yeah, you weren't at Kurt's house in
was
2004.
right there at the corner of my house and the street where it comes together. He had the house right there.
This isn't the same guy who now dabbles in the adult film entertainment industry.
That's Brad Newman.
Totally different guy.
But he lived right down the street from Brad Newman.
Okay.
And we knew Newman. That was when we knew Newman.
Yeah.
But, we didn't.
It's a very colorful childhood.
Well, Brownsburg used to be a wild and eclectic place before they put up a warehouse and a high-density housing development on every corner. It used to be kind of a cool place to live. But that is crazy. I've manifested that for years. Like, this is not something I woke up this morning and was like, hey, I remember. Like, in my mind for years.
That really happened.
I remember the basketball goal. It was one of those goals that you could move. It wasn't like one, in the ground.
Okay.
It was a white backboard. I won the game.
Of course you did.
I remember all of these things. And
was it just one-on-one? Were you playing like around a horse?
No,
what was going on there?
It was one-on-one, and none of this.
Are you sure you were actually even there?
It's like, okay, so now what else about my childhood?
did I really hit that home run into the top of the trees at the varsity diamond or the majors diamond at the Browns?
Is your
Little League
name
field?
even Rob?
I don't. Like, did I have, you know how in the movie It, where they have these horrible experiences, did something warp my memory that I've also blocked out?
You're blaming this on childhood trauma? Is that
I don't
what you're
know.
doing?
Like, at this point, I mean, do you have any of those? Has that ever happened to you where there's something where you definitively said this absolutely 100% happened and I'm certain of it, and then it got disproven?
No, I'm always correct.
Like, you? Ever?
Yeah, well, like I was saying, you know, sometimes I remember something and I don't remember if it's from a dream or reality.
Well,
nuts.
we're gonna jog your memory later on in the show.
Yeah, that's right. So when I was, as I said, I've been cleaning in case this will surprise you, I'm a bit of a hoarder. I have a little problem letting go of things, and I have all sorts of just random ass stuff that there's zero reason for me to still have. And I had all these files and papers, and my wife was like, you have to get rid of those or I'm going to leave you. And so I've spent the last several days because the PGA was on. I thought, okay, I'll just do it while I'm getting rid. I mean, just like bags and bags and bags of shredding, you know, through the proper, you know, techniques, whatever. And in this, I found all sorts of little, you know, Easter eggs and little, you know, golden nuggets in these just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of files. And I found, Casey, a letter, one of my assignments in senior government class. And now I'm calling this into question because I distinctly remember writing this letter to myself.
You sure?
Well, it matches up what I remember writing was you have to write, like, where do you see yourself in the future?
Right.
And this letter, which I will read part of it on the air later, it is amazing how completely accurate I was about my life and how my worldview 20 plus years ago would be exactly the same as my worldview ultimately became
today.
And I've not thought about this thing or anything in 20 however many years.
I can't wait to hear the letter. We're going to do that next hour. But really, I'm starting to question everything now.
Kurt, darling, are you sure there wasn't? Are you sure? Just before we put a bow on this,
I know. I think you are thinking of when qualifying happened in 1995, in which the two Penske cars got bumped from the field. That was the same year that the Pacers beat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference semifinals.
And that would have been on the race.
No, that would have been qualifying the weekend before. Because it was a big deal qualifying, that, especially that particular time.
It's all one day, wasn't it?
It was one day, yes.
That's what you're thinking of, huh? Well, good thing we've got the internet now to clear this all up.
I could have got away. I was like a Scooby-Doo villain.
Had it
I'd have
not
got
been for you meddling kids. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
You love spring in Indy, but you hate to paint, so do what Judy did. She called Rhino Shield.
The house that Rhino Shield did for my husband and I, after having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Indy, you too can have the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield, and I am just thrilled to recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, who's winning? What? Who's winning? Somebody spinning?
Race fans know the track is loud. For the hard of hearing, this confusion happens every day on the telephone. RelayIndiana.com can help. RelayIndiana.com is a free service that provides telephone access to the hard of hearing, so users have normal phone conversations through relay operators. Relay Indiana also provides free equipment to those who qualify. Enjoy the race and phone conversations. Visit RelayIndiana.com now.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
A top Iranian leader killed. It's 79 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. A helicopter crash killed the president of Iran. It happened over the weekend in a mountainous area of the country. Lawmakers are reacting.
Good riddance to Raisi. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. The president is more like a chief operating officer. It's the Ayatollah that really matters.
Congressman Michael Waltz, several other Iranian dignitaries were killed as well. Ayatollah Khamenei elevating Iran's first vice president to the top job. Former President Trump's criminal hush money trial is back underway in New York.
This case should be dismissed. It should have never been brought. And the judge is highly conflicted. He's a corrupt judge. He's highly conflicted. He's totally corrupt. He's interfering with an election.
Ex-Trump lawyer Michael Cohen is back on the stand today and is being cross-examined by the former president's defense team. And that happened last week as well, who accused him of lying and trying to get revenge against Trump. It's unclear if Trump will be taking the stand in this trial. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Terry Stacy here with two-time Indy 500 winner Al Unser Jr., a client of Exercise Inc., the 20-minute once-a-week workout that is changing the lives of Hoosiers like little Al.
Since I've begun the program, I've gotten stronger, I've gotten healthier, I've gotten more energy. It's reduced my back pain by quite a lot. And then he puts together the Simple 9 nutritional program, and I've actually lost some weight. It's just been all positives all the way around. All those years of racing, it took a toll on my body, and I just feel so much stronger, so much healthier. And even my wife, Norma, she goes in there with me, and she has more energy. She's gotten stronger, and she's lost some weight too. So it's been really working for both of us.
And just like little Al and his wife, Exercise Incorporated will make a difference in your life too. 20 minutes, once a week, that's it. 5 locations. They're now located in Fishers as well. Just open those doors. Visit exerciseinc.com.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code EASY or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text EASY to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Heat and cool places where ductwork won't fit using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits. You can even wrap them to match your decor.
Find out more at absolutecomfort.org.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Okay, so we've got a big weekend in sports coming up with the Pacers playing the Indy 500 and then the Pacers playing at some point. Rob, you thought it was in 1994, 1995, where you thought that the game was on the same day as the Indy 500, a Pacers playoff game. But I want you to put on your memory cap as we go back in time and see if you recall this. Could you have been at Kurt Ron's house?
Yeah.
In 1999.
No, he moved. No, there's no way.
Because that's the year the Pacers hosted NBA playoff game, and the Indy 500 happened on the same day.
No,
it was May 30th, 1999.
I was a child, Casey. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was a kid. He moved. He was out of there by 5th grade. So he would, no, that's what I'm saying. I think maybe Kurt Darling is correct, where the 500 qualifying was going on, because it used to not be on TV, obviously. You used to have to listen to it on the radio. And maybe that's what I did. I mean, I know that it has happened, but I was a child. Like, I'm just beside myself, Casey. This thing that definitely happened clearly did not happen.
Well, Scott McLaughlin, he captured the pole position for this year's Indy 500, turned in the fastest 4-lap average speed over the weekend, 224 miles per hour and 23. And then he just did 234. What was that, yesterday? Crazy fast time. And you're very excited about all the promotion they've put in the past week over at the track.
I thought and now I'm speaking as, because you know this, Casey, because your man is Mr. Sports, that sports is successful when they find a way to appeal to people outside of their core constituency. It's sort of like
grow the audience.
It's basically, I mean, it is. It's like, it's no different than a fast food promotion or whatever. When you can bring new people into the process, you're doing something well. And for racing, which is a niche sport, that is very, very hard to do. And again, I say this as somebody who spent the past 4 days watching a niche sport, for 12 hours a day, which is golf. So I'm not being critical of this. I'm simply stating from my own experience, golf went through that for about 10 years with Tiger Woods, where my 80-year-old grandmother would sit and watch golf with me every Sunday because she wanted to see Tiger Woods. Hockey with Gretzky, boxing with Mike Tyson. The WNBA has at least another week or so left of it with Caitlin Clark. Now, if they don't get their act together and she doesn't start playing better, that's going to run out of steam real quick. Gee, who predicted that? But I thought the race, IndyCar, with this qualifying, and maybe it's because it's now all on television, so you can actually watch it, and it sort of seems like we're getting over on people, if anything we can see at the track, because you went so many years where you never got to see anything that went on there in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in real time. But I until the golf came on Saturday and Sunday, was watching this, and I am as casual a fan as you can get. I watch one race a year, or engage or listen to one race a year. That's mostly because it's us, not that it's even a race. And I was like, man, this is great. I totally loved watching this, and I thought the way they've set up the qualifications is A+ by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
I'm excited how they, you can go over all weekend long and enjoy everything that's going on in the race. Probably smaller crowd too.
Well, and you think about, you have an interest. They've set it up to where, hey, the first day, who's going to be in the top 12? Who are going to be the people we're going to see tomorrow? And then, you had the thing with VK hitting the wall, and you had Dixon's engine, and you're kind of interested then, and because those are, some of the main guys. And then the next day, obviously, it's like whose dream is going to be crushed, and they're going to be out of this thing. Who's going to actually be on the pole? And so I just thought, for the casual viewer, they've done a phenomenal job of engaging you a week ahead of the event itself, and that's pretty rare in sport, especially in niche sport. And I give them a huge thumbs up for that. I thought it was great.
So you've got the fastest sport, right? And then you've also got the greatest spectacle in tortoise racing.
Oh, how exciting.
The Indianapolis Zoo hosting their 45th annual Zoopolis 500, where they race the turtles.
Did that get 300,000 people as well?
No, it's coming up on Wednesday, May 22nd. It hasn't happened yet, but no, I don't think that many people will come, but it's still a fun event, and the fact that they've been doing it for 45 years now.
Now, you are out the rest of the week.
I am.
Are you planning on going to the race on Sunday?
No. I would have liked to, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. So my question is, now you've been the last 2 years, right? You've gone the last 2 years. Were those your first?
Last 3. Yeah.
22.
Yeah.
So you went before you were working here then?
Yeah.
Okay. Those were your first experiences at the Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Did you find it, as, again, a casual fan, viewer, whatever, did you find the experience itself a pleasurable thing?
Oh, absolutely. I think, the energy there at the track is so much fun. Now, in northern Indiana, we had the race on TV for years. So that was always something, it was on all day long, and you'd check in and out throughout the day and watch it on TV. But here in central Indiana, not on the TV. Of course, you just go over to the track and enjoy it. I thought it was a whole lot of fun just because everybody there it feels like everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Like everybody just wants to go and have a good time and enjoy the race. And there's not a problem. It's not like
right.
There's no issues. It's just like, let's just have a nice day.
It is amazing, isn't it, that you're packing 300,000?
Right.
And look, and Hammer who will join us next, can probably shed some light on this, as I've never actually been in the snake pit or anything like that. But it seems like, other than there's some people that probably drink a little too much and maybe get a little too much sun, and there might be a little hustle and tussle in there. But, it's not a slew of people walking out in ambulances or, gurneys or whatever. It is amazing how everybody, while on their best behavior is probably not the accurate word, they figure out how to coexist
right
for one day in that very large soup over there at 16th and Georgetown.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a tribute to everybody involved.
The first year we went, we had no idea that you could bring your own cooler and do all of that. Such rookies, the novice.
Yeah.
But now that we know, got a little more experience with it. And that's one of those things where you go once and you want to keep going back.
Yeah.
Because it's a good time.
So two things. One, we're going to have Stingray Rob on tomorrow. And then also, and we'll give Hammer a chance to promote this when he comes in here in just a moment, they got their Tales from the Track thing tonight with Scott Dixon.
Right.
And so that's going to be a real interesting conversation, because Dixon has been such a dominant driver in the prelude to the 500, and then obviously has had some bad breaks the last couple of years. Now that he's a little further back, it's going to be interesting to see how his mindset and approach changes on that. So if you got tickets to that tonight, that's going to be a heck of an event, because I'd be very curious to see what sort of mindset Dixon is actually in.
Yep, we've got Hammer, who's going to join us in just a bit. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC. Over the weekend, LeBron James was here in town, NBA's all-time leading scorer. He was spotted Friday night at a gym in Westfield. Can you imagine you're going to a gym in Westfield and all of a sudden you look over and you're like, wait a minute, who's that really tall guy? He's 6'8". Sure. It's not like you wouldn't, you're not going to miss him.
So he has the one kid who, boy, what a disaster. Talk about
Bronny.
Talk about putting unfair expectations on your kids. So now, he's this mediocre college basketball player for some reason, because they've led teams to kind of believe, hey, if you draft him, there's a chance LeBron may want to pull a Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. and play with this kid, and maybe they haven't said that directly, but that's sort of, some people believe some inference is being made. So now there's this thing where this guy who has no business being in the NBA now they're saying even potentially be a first-round pick, because let's face it, if you're picking at 29 or 30, you're not going to get a superstar anyway. And if you could get LeBron for a year, what a boost for your finances, right? Yeah. So he's maybe going to get drafted. Now the things come out that his height isn't anywhere near what they were reporting him as. And you kind of feel bad for this kid, because you've lived your whole life in this bubble.
Well, or in the shadow of your dad.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's face it. Can you name me Barry Bonds was great. His dad was a MVP. Ken Griffey Sr. was an okay player. Ken Griffey Jr. was really good. But by and large, I'm talking like the upper echelon players in any sport, like Michael Jordan's kid, nothing. Is there any player you can think of who is a phenomenal player whose kid also became a phenomenal player in any sport?
That would be a tough position to put yourself in. Why would you want to do that?
Well, that's the thing.
Because you're always going to be compared.
And so he's and now this thing where he might be a first-round pick, that's just adding fuel to the fire. But there's another LeBron James kid.
Bryce is his name. He's his second oldest son. He plays basketball as well, and he was in town for a tournament.
In Westfield.
Yeah. Well, they were at the field house at Grant Park.
Oh,
yeah. But I can't imagine. Pick a different sport.
Yeah. My dad always
my dad always compared.
My dad always tells me this. He said, I chose to accomplish very little in life so that you didn't have that pressure. And I'm very thankful for that. Hammer's going to join us next.
Yep.
He was at the big ball game on Friday night.
And then he was at the track too, wasn't he?
He is a man about town.
Yep, and we're going to hear all about it coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
Nobody has more fun in the afternoon than the Hammer and Nigel show. It's race week in Indy. We got a big show for you this afternoon. Let's have some laughs. Let's have some fun. 3:06 is when we crack the mic. 93 WIBC.
What people suffering from nasal breathing, snoring, and sleep apnea problems want is for their issues to be fixed. And at Advent, that is precisely what we do. Here, there are no Band-Aids, but there is a thorough approach to get to the root of your problem. And in tens of thousands of cases, finding simple solutions, which are undeniably effective, have made remarkably positive impacts on people's lives. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. For years, patients have been traveling literally from around the world to come to us to find what no one else has been able to give them. And that's why now we've come closer to you.
If your quality of life has been diminished because of nasal breathing, snoring, or sleep apnea problems, and you don't know who to turn to, go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Hey guys, it's Rob for We Grow Hair Indy. And man, it has been 3.5 years since I went to We Grow Hair Indy, and what a great choice it was. And one of the great things about going to We Grow Hair Indy is I see it every time I look in the mirror. I feel good about my choice to go to We Grow Hair Indy every time I look in the mirror. And if you're somebody who looks in the mirror and says, man, I've lost a little bit on top, We Grow Hair Indy might be the perfect place for you. Here's how it works. You call 317-522-2995, 317-522-2995, or head over to WeGrowHairIndy.com, WeGrowHairIndy.com. Schedule a totally free consultation, no obligation, and Darren and the gang are going to take a look at what you got going on top of your dome. They're going to discuss some options with you, and then you make the choice. No hassle, no obligation, nothing to lose, everything to gain. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Suicide is the most critical issue facing the veteran community today. Tony Katz here. But veterans who find friendship and camaraderie are less likely to feel isolated or have suicidal ideation. And the American Legion is where veterans come to connect with other veterans. Veteran-owned and operated Hotel Tango Distillery is a proud partner of the American Legion. And now, through July 31st, Hotel Tango will support the American Legion's Be the One initiative to reduce veteran suicide. For every one of its red, white, and bourbon bottles sold, Hotel Tango Distillery will donate to the American Legion's Be the One mission, which aims to save the lives of veterans by raising awareness, conducting training classes, and fostering camaraderie. To learn more about how you can be the one, visit legion.org/be the one. Learn how to get your hands on a bottle of red, white, and bourbon. Visit the Where to Buy page on Hotel Tango's website, hoteltangodistillery.com, or ask your local spirits retailer. Hotel Tango, distilled with discipline.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters ASE technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No,
Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Don't miss Tire Discounters Savor the Summer Sale. Details at TireDiscounters.com.
That's Faber's being window. Trust me.
Are you thinking about your next home improvement project, but you need more than a window replacement? Whether it's siding, entry doors, or maybe a bath or shower remodel, design it before you buy it. That's right. B's using the latest in technology to create an architectural design so you can see our products on your house before you purchase.
For a limited time, receive 50% off all products plus 12 months, no interest, no payments.
Faber's being window. Trust me.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. 10 minutes in front of 11, and Hammer's in the studio. You had a big weekend. You were all over the place.
Man, it was fun.
Yeah.
Right? This is my favorite month of the year, May in Indy. I love it. And when the Pacers are good and we get that Pacers-Racers crossover, I feel like a kid again. Because I was in high school in the mid-'90s when it was Pacers, Knicks, Spike against Reggie.
Are these legitimate memories or are these made-up memories?
These are legitimate memories for me. No, it's been fun, man. And seeing the Pacers go into New York and beat the Knicks in the Garden, I'd almost rather have that than them winning a Game 7 here. Like, to just see all the tears coming out of rowdy, obnoxious New York Knicks fan, Spike Lee, and Ben Stiller's fat gray hair sitting there in the front row, and all of them, those former players. John Starks was there. Like, ESPN would always go out of their way to show all the former Knicks greats. But the Pacers had all the greats at our house, too, and they couldn't get a sniff of television.
Yeah, you and I were talking about this during the break, that you think about that run of Pacers teams, and everybody seems to talk about the 93 or the 94 and 95 teams because they had those battles with the Knicks. That 98 Pacers team, I think, was the best of the lot, and the fact that they had the Last Dance Bulls beat in Game 7.
In Chicago.
And they just came up, just a little bit short. But, man, I think that was the best of all the teams.
I would say the two best teams from Indianapolis sports were the 98 Pacers that did not go on to the finals and the 2005 Colts, the team that lost to the Steelers in that first round. That was the best Colts team.
Fat Ben Roethlisberger with a game-saving touchdown tackle.
Tackling Nick Harper fresh off of a stab wound from his old lady, allegedly the night before. Couldn't get around that big fat turd laying on the ground with nothing but green around.
And that was after a miracle fumble. The game was over. Bettis fumbles the football.
After an amazing pop by Gary Brackett.
Yeah.
Like, Gary Brackett puts a generational hit on arguably the most bruising running back the league has ever seen. Bettis coughs it up. Nick Harper picks it up.
Yeah.
Nothing but green around. And Ben Roethlisberger, who's fat and lazy, was laying on the ground, trips him up, but it wasn't over. Peyton gets them down there.
Yep.
They drive down the field. It's a long but makeable kick for a guy that had been the most accurate kicker in the league's history, Mike Vanderjagt, and he kicked it in the bathroom.
Yeah, Brownsburg resident Mike Vanderjagt, by the way. And the thing that I hate about Mike Vanderjagt is I got his autograph at a Brownsburg high school basketball game one time, and he used to sign his autograph with the little ball going through the uprights. Clearly he forgot that when he made that kick there in the season on the line.
And listen, everybody makes mistakes. Like, you don't want to beat a guy up for it, but he was awful cocky.
Oh yeah, he was mouthy.
And I think that's what broke Peyton Manning in that world famous Pro Bowl interview. Our liquored up idiot kicker was running his mouth.
Yeah, and the biggest, not that the downfall's not the right word, of that amazing sports weekend that we had with all the excitement of the race and the qualifications, which that's phenomenal, the way they're doing that. And then, of course, the Pacers, is nobody was paying attention to the fact that I, out of 156 guys, picked a guy not at the top of the favorites list. It wasn't like I went with Scotty Scheffler. I got to the last hole with the leader at the PGA Championship, and I was robbed by the side of the cup. That ball went all the way around before it went in. That no good, dirty, rotten Xander Schauffele. We were halfway to the Robbie Slam, Hammer. We almost had the Masters and the PGA right with DeChambeau.
Yep. So what we need, Casey, are new T-shirts for the Hammer and Nigel merch store.
Yeah.
Rob Kendall can't finish at the last hole.
Don't follow his bets. You'll be robbed.
Oh, man, it was so close.
But let's go back to crapping on the Knicks fans because what was great about being out at the Speedway yesterday was, like, as all the exciting action was going on, bump day and the race for the pole, like, they would announce the score over the PA. You'd hear Dave Calabro, into the first quarter, Pacers are up by 15. Like, and the whole place would cheer, and it was awesome. And another man of the people, Doug Bowles.
Yeah.
That dude is a machine. He's a maniac. He is so good at his job. He's running around all over the place. He's in a suit. And then he just goes and sits in the crowd, like with all the drunken idiots like myself, and just watching the qualifications. You know, he's taking pictures, doing all that stuff. The minute it's over, he hops up, he's running, he's going under the tunnel, and he's over there presenting the check to the poll winner.
Yeah.
Like, he's a hustler, man. He's awesome.
Wait, they do a giant check?
I think they have multiple giant checks, big sponsors for the poll winner.
You ever gotten a giant check? Anybody ever gotten a giant check?
Happy Gilmore did. He wanted all of his checks to be giant checks.
And by the way, how excited are we that Happy Gilmore is coming back, baby?
Happy Gilmore 2. Now, I have concerns. I'll watch it. I'm not going to tell you that I'm not. But we know it's not going to be as good as the original, right?
Here is my thing with that, though. I think so many golf people are going to want to be a part of that because they grew up being influenced by that movie. I think you might be able to get
cast.
Tiger Woods as the new Chubbs.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Now, and I'm not. You got to get Zalatoris. Looks just like the caddy. He
Paige
can totally be the
Spiranac.
caddy.
Yeah, Paige has got to be the new
she'll be the love interest.
PR chick, right?
Now, I don't know if it's true, but there was some rumor that Sydney Sweeney was interested in being a part of this as well. I'm not going to crap on this quite yet, Hammer. I think there could be some merit to this movie. Now, you're right, it could be horrible.
Right, because Coming to America 2, the sequel they made, which was also a direct-to-streaming product, was kind of a turd.
You've got Tales from the Track tonight.
We do. Thanks to Relay Indiana. They are our presenting sponsor. We got Scott Dixon event tonight. It is sold out. Hotel Tango Distilleries providing the booze. And it's Monday, man. We are going to have a good, fun show this afternoon.
Thank you, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It was awesome when Window Nation came out to my house. It took them a day to install a bunch of windows. That was it. And they left my house cleaner than what it was before the install. Window Nation's got this semi-annual sale going on right now. 50% off all window styles plus 0% interest for 5 years. And an additional bonus if you schedule an appointment this week. The numbers say it all. They installed over 200,000 windows last year. That's 40 times more than the average window company. And over 20,000 online positive reviews.
And it is on like Donkey Kong right now. The semi-annual sale. 50% off all style of windows, 0% interest for 5 years. And if that's not enough, an additional bonus discount for booking your appointment this week. Time is a factor. Call Window Nation right now. 866-90-NATION. Or go to windownation.com, but tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-822-1716. 800-822-1716.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
This May, be a hero at the finish line. Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives reminds you to say yes to organ donation the next time you're at the BMV.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the outlook for storms tomorrow into Wednesday, plus where a fatal shooting happened over the weekend, Ryan Hedrick reports. And it was a true Pacers and Racers weekend here in Indianapolis. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC at WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
He's already admitted to lying. Now Michael Cohen admits to stealing. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Cohen, still being cross-examined by Trump lawyers at the former president's trial in New York, just testified he stole money from the Trump Organization as part of the reimbursement for paying Stormy Daniels to keep an alleged Trump affair quiet before the 2016 election.
This case should be dismissed. It should have never been brought. And the judge is highly conflicted. He's a corrupt judge.
The former president before going into the court this morning.
They have no case. They have no crime.
The former president again denies the charge of falsifying records, reimbursing Cohen. Israel and Hamas have something they agree on. Both are denouncing the chief prosecutor at the International Criminal Court seeking arrest warrants for Israel's prime minister and defense minister and Hamas leaders, alleging they've all committed war crimes in Gaza. Israel's president calls that beyond outrageous. Iran's first vice president's been elevated after President Ibrahim Raisi was killed along with Iran's foreign minister.
The death of President Raisi in that helicopter crash over the weekend followed reports that two Biden administration officials held indirect talks with Iranian officials last week in Oman. Axios reports the talks involving Biden's top Middle East advisor and the acting U.S. envoy for Iran were the first since Iran's attack on Israel back in April. U.S. officials are trying to avoid escalating tensions in the Middle East, but again over the weekend, Houthi rebels hit a Greek-owned tanker in the Red Sea with a ballistic missile.
Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble. The cargo ship that crashed into the Key Bridge in Baltimore in March, collapsing it, killing 6 workers, finally being removed from the wreckage.
The Dolly is being guided by several tugboats as it moves back to port. The National Transportation Safety Board's preliminary report says the Dolly had experienced 2 electrical blackouts before leaving the port of Baltimore. The ship had 2 more blackouts when it approached the Key Bridge, causing it to drift off course.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What to expect this week? It's mostly sunny and 80 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Strong storms are in the forecast for this week. Some may hit tonight in some places, but forecasters say Tuesday evening is the bigger threat.
If you're looking at late Tuesday night or pre-dawn Wednesday, that's more Upper Wabash Valley, Lafayette area, and then as you get into the day, Wednesday, then the threat's more across all of central Indiana.
Forecaster Alex McGinnis with the National Weather Service. As for Indy 500 race weekend, things are trending towards a dry race day. Scott McLaughlin leading a Team Penske lockout of the front row for the Indianapolis 500 in qualifying. It's the second time ever they've done that. Defending champion Joseph Newgarden starting third when next to his teammate Will Power.
So it's a testament to the team. You know, this is pretty cool that they were able to look, this is what Indianapolis is all about.
As for the last row, Nolan Siegel was the driver bumped from this year's field. A man was shot in Fountain Square Sunday. Ryan Hedrick reports.
People were strolling around, enjoying their Sunday afternoon when the shooting went down. Viviana Hickey was grabbing lunch with a friend outdoors when it happened.
We heard the gunshot, and then we saw the window get busted out, and then the guy immediately hit that black sedan right there. And then I called 911.
Hickey says she gave the victim some napkins to help stop the bleeding from his wound. Police arrested the shooter. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A constable in Indianapolis is in jail again. Denise Hatch was arrested over the weekend. She was carrying a gun when she wasn't supposed to be. That's because she's already in trouble for misconduct charges. The New York Knicks have won 5 of their last 7 home Game 7s in playoff history. That's until the Indiana Pacers beat them on Sunday to advance to the NBA Eastern Conference Finals.
I just told our team, when you win a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden, you've made history. It's very, very difficult to do.
Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle. They now have the Boston Celtics next. Game 1 is Tuesday night. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Sinus pain. You know it all too well. It's constant. It's frustrating. The pressure, the headaches, the snoring, the constant clogged feeling. You're tired of feeling like this, but you've tried nasal sprays, over-the-counter medicines, even home remedies. No matter what you try, nothing gives you lasting sinus relief. You're tired of missing out and feeling miserable. There is something you can do, something different. Indianapolis Sinus Center. The physicians at Indianapolis Sinus Center have been serving the community with proven treatments for over 50 years. They know what you're going through, and they're standing by ready to offer you the best treatments to provide long-term relief. Breathe better. You don't have to keep suffering from sinus pain. Call Indianapolis Sinus Center today at 317-528-9650 and take the first step toward relief. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650 or go to IndianapolisSinusCenter.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, May 20th. It is 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So over the weekend, Donald Trump got an endorsement, one that he was expecting to get and one that it really shouldn't surprise anybody.
Oh.
It was the National Rifle Association endorsing him. He, of course, was speaking at their annual convention in Dallas on Saturday. During his speech, he gave about a 2-hour speech. And during the speech, he was ripping on Biden. He was ripping on RFK, but he also said that he needs every gun owner to go and vote. He wants a landslide.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, is the NRA still a thing? I mean, like, I know they're physically obviously still a thing, but they've had so many problems over the past several years, many of them brought on by themselves, it would appear. Like, is there still some great, hey, the NRA's endorsed so-and-so, and now they're, because it used to be like if you had an NRA backing, especially in a Republican primary or whatever, you were a slam dunk. Is that even is it a thing anymore?
Well, are any endorsements a thing anymore?
Well, that's a great point, right? Here is the thing I would say about all of these speeches I'm hearing from Trump. It's certainly what we heard from Biden over the weekend. Nobody's running on anything. Nobody's telling you what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. And you've seen that now trickle down to like our governor's race here. No one has any idea what Mike Braun's going to do. Mike Braun's going to be the next governor of the state of Indiana. And if someone tells you they know what he's going to do, they're lying to you because he has not told on almost any topic specifics of what he's going to do or how he's going to accomplish that. And that means that when these people get into these offices, they're going to weeble wobble into any corner that is the path of least resistance for them, and it's almost impossible to hold them
because
accountable.
they didn't make any promise on anything, so it doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want.
So, Biden has nothing to run on. So he gives that speech over the weekend where it's this, hey, the Republicans are a bunch of racists and they're insurrectionists. And like, he will not talk about his record at all because it's been totally abysmal. But it's not that far off with Trump either, where it's, this guy sucks and that guy sucks and this. And now he's going at Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Because I think he feels he's vulnerable, and probably rightfully so, that Trump was a very pro-vaccine guy. And obviously RFK was kind of the antithesis of that. And so he feels vulnerable on that. But instead of they never just say the thing. Like, if you were Trump, what would be the harm in coming out and saying, look, I got totally hoodwinked during the COVID stuff, and I listened to the wrong people, and I was trying to do the best that I could in the time and the information that I had. In hindsight, I was completely wrong, and I made a bunch of mistakes, and I can assure you I've learned A, B, C, and D from that, and these things will never happen again based on that. I would have so much respect for him.
Right, if they just came out and acknowledged it.
But instead, he recognizes his vulnerability, which is, I was completely wrong about the billions of dollars I spent on this thing, and I was completely wrong in not standing up when people were being forced to get this stuff, and I was completely wrong to shut society down. I was completely wrong to print this money, and he knows he's vulnerable on that, and Kennedy's going to crush him on that. No, Biden can't, because Biden was in on it too. But instead of just owning his own baggage and telling me as a voter what he's going to do to prevent that from happening again, he just goes at the other guy.
He's just going to ignore it, and move the ball, attack somebody else instead.
I mean, that's pathetic. And so what tells me is, if he gets in there again, he might do it again. I don't know, Casey. I mean, like, I'm going to let the debates play out, and I'm going to let the conventions play out, and I'm going to look to see where we're at in August or September. But I left my primary ballot blank, and at this point,
there's a part of me that's going to be tempted to leave the general election presidential option blank, because I don't feel like Trump has done anything to earn my vote at this point. And I am obviously not going to vote for Kennedy, and I'm not going to vote for Biden. But I'm not just going to vote for Trump because he's the other option when he has not shown me what he's going to do differently this time around.
I believe the last politician on that level who apologized to America was John F. Kennedy over Bay of Pigs.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Well, and
it's been quite a while.
And why this matters is Trump is going to face one manufactured crisis after another. And this is why this is important. This is not Rob being some negative Nelly. He's going to face one manufactured crisis after another because the left is not going to allow him to be able to succeed. The Democrats are not going to allow him to be able to succeed. And they got away with it the last time. So if he went along with it and they got away with it and it was successful for them last time, they're certainly going to try it again. So everybody has a vested interest in knowing what Trump believes he did wrong or what went wrong during COVID and what he will do to prevent that from happening again. And I have not heard anything from him, any sort of ownership or remorse or anything about all the crap he pulled during COVID.
Well, he's back in New York today as his hush money trial continues. Michael Cohen, more cross-examination from him. And it's, things are continuing to get interesting on that. Cohen, a key witness, and he's getting just slaughtered by everybody. Nobody believes a thing that comes out of this guy's mouth. Where this all ends, we'll see. President Biden, on the other hand, he was delivering that commencement speech address at Morehouse College in Atlanta.
Was gross.
Did you see the video of his motorcade driving through town? It was like a smattering of people.
Well, this is the question, and this is why people question what happened in 2020, which is this guy was going to rallies, and there was like 6 people there. And so we're led to believe that 80 million, this guy couldn't draw 100 people at a rally, but 80 million people were super enthused.
At one point over the weekend, he said that when he was vice president, the pandemic was a mess. He was not vice president during the pandemic.
Again, it's like now they've come out with all these things they found in Georgia about the ballots and all the things they've found in Arizona about the ballots. And now, obviously, the issues that from the beginning people have had with what happened in Pennsylvania with this mass mail and unaccountable voting. And it's like, really? We're supposed to believe that a guy who couldn't string a sentence together and hid in his basement and was getting 6 people at rallies when he was actually coming out? We're led to believe that guy got 80 million votes.
Here's some food for thought. Dan Quayle, you remember him, right? Vice president from 1988 to 1992. Man. Yeah. He is younger than both of our current major party presidential candidates. But here's your president, Joe Biden, lying during his Morehouse address.
Today in Georgia, they won't allow water to be available to you while you wait in line to vote in an election. What in the hell is that all about? I'm serious.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I'm serious. We know you are.
Let's take away that he's a delusional old fool who probably doesn't know his head from his ass most of the time. You have a president of the United States who can't run on anything. He's been president for almost 4 years now, and he can't run on anything. I mean, we talked about, like, even Obama in 2012, the argument simply was, hey, things aren't necessarily great, and you've punished us for the thing we did in 2010, but it's not a soup line. You have a job. The economy is somewhat stable.
Biden can't say that.
Yeah, I mean, they ran with something, right? And it worked because Romney was so bad. Bush, right? It's like, hey, I know Iraq's not going great, and Afghanistan isn't won yet, but you're not in a mushroom cloud. The U.S. hasn't blown up yet. There hasn't been a nuclear war, and it worked. There's nothing. Biden has nothing to run on. It's pathetic. Like, it's so embarrassing that there's nothing for him to run on.
Well, it's not just that. It's every level of the government. I mean, we didn't get to this on Friday, but can we just acknowledge this drama that happened and how ridiculous it is?
Well, you the one talking about, I guess.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order. Is a motion in order to refer your conduct and your abuse of
It's not a point of order.
Mr. I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words.
That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Baby girl?
We are going to move, and we're going to take your words down.
Are we witnessing a cat fight in the House of Representatives?
Yeah, but again, these people don't grow out of a politician farm in the back of someone's field somewhere. We've put them there. And we've done this at all levels. And this is why I always find it humorous when people get mad at me about like the nicknames I give people. Or look at these politicians treat us like garbage. They treat us like complete garbage. Look at what's going on here. You have the Speaker of the House of Representatives who literally there is a committee who is supposed to be studying taxation, and the number one thing they're talking about is property taxes. And he has the audacity to come out and go, that's a local issue.
Yeah.
When he knows damn well it's a state issue. You created the assessor. You created the mechanism by which properties are taxed because they're based on assessment. So what is worse? At least they're doing it in public. At least they're being Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC and all these people. At least they're publicly being clowns. Is it any less clownish
to do it behind closed doors?
And for Todd Huston to come out and go, yeah, that's a local issue. We don't have anything to do with that. At least they're telling the truth about who they are. Todd Huston is lying to you.
Yeah.
So you're right, Casey. It's all of these people. But we keep electing the same people over and over and over. Look at I think all but two incumbents won their House and Senate re-election races here in Indiana. And everybody's going to be mad when nothing gets fixed. If you keep electing the same people, they're going to keep doing the same stuff.
It just amazes me when you have people like that. They're more interested in name calling and baby girl and fake eyelashes than getting anything accomplished. They're supposed to be representing us and doing the work of us.
But I don't want them to. But at least with that, I don't want them to do anything
because they'd just be spending money.
Right.
Well, they're doing both.
Exactly.
Actually.
Okay, Casey.
Have you learned anything?
Casey,
yeah.
I'm a little excited and a lot afraid about this next segment.
You're going to share with us?
Well, so I've been doing the deep cleansing of my life.
Yeah.
And I found a letter that I wrote to myself when I was a senior in high school. And while I'm ashamed of a little of it, I am also amazed at how right I was about how my life was going to turn out.
You're not going to edit out the good parts, are you?
No, I did shorten it because it's rather long.
Okay.
But this was a senior government history assignment. And I found this, and you know me, I'm an open book. So the good, the bad, and the ugly, how'd my life turn out?
It's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Life's certainties.
We'll take that. And then it's all I had left.
Death. And Indianapolis traffic.
Hey, hon, where are you?
Now, you know, sitting on the northeast side, I'm never coming home.
Do less sitting.
I hate traffic.
And do more living.
A long-term ramp closure.
Matt Baird traffic.
Eastbound 465 will be down to one lane. Should reopen
mornings and afternoons.
Lane restrictions on the northeast side.
On 93 WIBC.
During much of Indiana's history, communicating on the telephone with the deaf or hard of hearing was nearly impossible. Friends and loved ones couldn't stay in touch, so the hard of hearing became isolated. Today, those with hearing loss have equal access with the CapTel caption telephone from Relay Indiana and can keep their independence. Relay Indiana allows a caller to read what the other party is saying. This advanced technology keeps Hoosiers connected so that everyone can contribute to Indiana's productive future. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
I'm Dennis Reinbold for Dreyer & Reinbold BMW Infiniti and Mini at I-465 in Keystone, and Dreyer & Reinbold BMW Infiniti, Subaru, and Volkswagen on US 31 South in Greenwood. For 53 years, we've been working hard to earn your continued business and grow within the communities that we support. Visit DryerReinbold.com to see our great selection of new cars plus incredible off-lease and quality trade-ins. All makes and models at DryerReinbold.com.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes. You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
This May, you can be a hero at the finish line. Say yes to organ donation and talk to your family about your decision. A message from Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives.
Good morning. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. In an effort to clean up your life, you found some remnants of the past, huh?
Yeah, I've been on shredding binge the past...
Smart thing to do, especially with old documents that have your address or social security number on them. You should shred them.
Casey, you know
Very
how
smart.
paranoid and neurotic I am about everything. Do you think I'd leave anything just in a garbage can somewhere?
No, I don't.
Come on.
You hold on to everything. But good on your wife for telling you to get rid of some stuff.
Yeah, I've had like 20 years of documents, and they were the point now. I had a giant tub. It was this tub, and it is the point now where there were so many things in there, I couldn't even get the tub shut anymore.
So when something came in the mail or you just throw it in this tub?
Well, I kept
for 20 years.
Well, for many, many years, I owned my own business, and you will know, Casey, that as a business owner, you keep everything. And that way, if the IRS were to ever question
Comes
you
a knocking.
or whatever,
Yeah.
it's obviously changed a little bit over time as technology has advanced on how you can have access to things. But not to be like a Bible story here, but in the beginning, Casey, everything was on paper.
Yep.
And I've now determined, hey, after 20 years,
you can get rid of some stuff.
We can get rid of some things.
Yeah.
And so I've been shredding and whatever. And I've been finding little nuggets, some things that didn't have anything to do with the taxes or business records or whatever. And one of the things that I found was a letter that I wrote to myself. It was our senior government assignment at a senior year government, which you had to write a letter to yourself on where you would be in the future and the place you would be and the things you would be experiencing.
So this assignment, you had prompts, different questions that you had to answer or different words that you had to use in the letter to yourself.
Yeah, that's why, because I was reading it, and obviously it's been, 22 plus years since I read this, and I was like, why would I word something like that? And then it dawned on me, I was like, I would not have said that. And it's clearly my handwriting, so based on the thing where I'm just merging memories together now, then it dawned on me, he was grading it based on, because it was an assignment credit to do this. And the cool thing was then he actually did this where you would leave them with him. You would put them in an envelope. It was a forever stamp. You put it on it. And then he would mail them to you 10 years later. That's how you get it, to ensure that, and then you could look at your life. And then obviously I've had it in this thing for 15 years or whatever now.
Yeah, with the receipt from Wendy's. It meant a lot to you. It's a little time capsule.
There were, man, I bet I probably put 20 hours on this over the past, I've had that much.
Shredding?
Yeah, that much crap. But it's so cool, like little nuggets of things of your life. And it is interesting, like just the whole
I bet the most surprising thing is when you do come across a receipt is how cheap things used to be.
It's been very depressing.
Discouraging, I bet it is.
So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but because it's very long, but what I was amazed with was how accurate I was about what I wanted in my life. And I think even more so than that was my worldview and how it has stayed exactly the same. Like, what 15-year-old kid has a worldview?
Yeah, I knew what I wanted to do since I was 13, but I don't know if I had a world.
Like, I had a view about society. I had a view about government. I had a view about women.
Yeah, I knew certain things were important to me, like family. I knew I loved my family, and I knew eventually I wanted to be a mother.
But at 15, did you know the government was too big and its scope was too broad and the taxes were too high? Like, I read this, and it was the same view at 17 when I wrote it that I would have had at 15, and so
that could say a few things about you. One, either you're a man of conviction and you're very true to yourself.
Yeah.
Or we could go on the other side, and that shows a complete lack of growth on your part.
But if you're someone who's paying attention, what would the reasonable person, would it be growth to say, oh, yeah, the government's doing really well? Like, look at our society.
I mean, you were spot on from the get-go, right? So why change?
At 15 years old, I mean, I was basically 25 years ahead of the curve.
Right.
I was saying that
you've always been a 40-year-old man.
But what kid is thinking about that?
Maybe you were trying to, I don't know, just get a good grade and say something you thought the teacher would appreciate.
I read this, and I read it a couple times, and I thought,
No
I'm really proud of myself at how much I knew about what I really wanted in life, and I didn't have any concept of how I was going to get there or what the journey was going to be, but also of my surroundings and the people around me and the world around me, that even though I had this very small sample size, that I proved to be astute enough that it was completely accurate of how things were unfolding and would continue to unfold, and where it would take me. Because let's face it, my worldview is such a big part of my journey, right? Like, I have this job largely based on my worldview, and my worldview for this radio station was, when I was hired here, and still is today, largely different than everybody else's in terms of the way I see the government and see things and see society. And so I was just...
Do you recall, did you spend a lot of time on this?
No.
Like, I know your memories back then are a little fuzzy, as we've proven today, but do you recall, like, I'm going to spend hours on this?
I'm sure I wrote this, just like this radio show. I'm sure I sat down and wrote it in about 3 minutes.
Right. You put zero thought into it.
I was also amazed how much better my handwriting was back then.
Yeah.
I mean, my handwriting is horrible now, and but man, I stayed in the lines and everything.
So this is a handwritten letter.
It was. Now, I typed it out because I did have to shorten it because it would take like 10 minutes to get through it.
Yeah.
But I just kind of kept the things that were relevant to society. And Casey, I think you'll be very impressed with how accurate I was on the sort of person I wanted to end up with as a life partner.
Okay. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear that part of the letter.
Are you?
That's going to be the most entertaining part.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Can you do it?
Oh, man. Currently, you are sitting in U.S. government class. Here is a letter to yourself about your future and how you see it. The most important goal in my life is to be famous.
Oh, wow.
I want to be known the world over.
Wow.
My wildest dream is to someday be filthy rich. That way, I can buy whatever I want, including a sign that says Holcomb sucks right in front of Lockmiller's. Life would be so easy. Years from now, I hope to have my own political talk show on the radio.
Wow, that gave me goosebumps.
That would be so much fun. That's my life's ambition. Years from now, I think I'll be pretty much the same. That is, I'll be totally off the wall.
Off the rails, pretty close.
Still doing what I do now. And that is telling the truth the way I see it. I think I will be the most successful person from my class. So modest even back then. I've been working hard at various jobs for many years now. I know the value of $1 and what hard work really is. Unlike a lot of other kids that spend time speeding around in their fancy cars, mooching off their parents.
Wow.
My future wife, she'll be nice. She'll love me for who I am and all that comes with being me. She also must be hot. I want to be involved in radio. I want to be involved with being on the airwaves and telling the truth. People will listen and they will believe. My book that I would write would be about telling the truth about politics and political atrocities. It would inform the American people of the tricks liberals pull to confuse the public.
Wow.
Closing line. You are so talented.
Wow. You're like fanboying yourself. You were your own hype person, weren't you? That's incredible. Okay, I'm sitting here taking notes as you're reading it. Your goal was to be famous.
Yeah.
I kind of checked that box. You dreamed of being rich one day.
Yeah, still.
Sorry.
We still talk about,
Fail.
I'm gonna win that lottery, Casey, and hang that Holcomb sucks sign out of that building where Lockmiller's is.
Mm-hmm. Years from now, you wanted to host a political talk show.
Yep.
Check.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Check. You wanted to write a book to tell the truth. Check.
Yeah.
You wanted to be on the radio
Yeah.
and airwaves. Check, check. And you wanted a wife who was nice, loves you for who you are, and is hot. Check, check, check. Good job. Wow, it seems to me that you have made most of your goals and dreams come true.
I just think my favorite part is the very end.
Mm-hmm.
You are so talented.
You are so talented.
That's my close to myself.
Fantastic. You're your own hype man. What grade did you get on that
It
letter?
didn't have, I don't know if it was like you turn it in and you get a
There wasn't
credits.
a grade. It was just for completing it,
Yeah.
probably. And you're still, to this day, not in the Brownsburg Hall of Fame.
That's right. And I am by far the most successful person from the class of 2002. It's not even close, Casey.
That was a good letter. Thank you for
And
sharing.
not only that, remember they took me off the Wikipedia when somebody found I was listed as a famous alumna.
It is the Kendall and Casey
You are
show.
so talented.
It's 93 WIBC. You tell yourself that every day, don't you?
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says he took some cash. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Ex-Trump lawyer Michael Cohen is admitting that he stole from the Trump Organization. Cohen made the admission that he stole $30,000 from the company while on the stand today in Trump's criminal hush money case. Cohen is the prosecution's key witness who they say was behind possible payments to adult actress Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about an affair with Trump in 2006. Severe storms are expected to hit this week.
Biggest threat right now would be damaging winds that could be marginally strong to severe. You always worry about trees, power lines coming down, that sort of a possibility when you have these strong to severe storms.
Alex McGinnis with the National Weather Service says that race day for the Indianapolis 500 is expected to be dry. Scott McLaughlin, your pole sitter for this year's race. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
According to a 2023 Gallup poll, 71% of non-retired adults are worried about retirement saving. At Howard Bailey Financial, we don't believe retiring with confidence should be guesswork. In fact, our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we provide our Retire with Purpose toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you won't outlive. To receive your complimentary toolkit, text CLARITY to 866-482-9559. Take a step toward a more confident retirement with Howard Bailey Financial and text CLARITY to 866-482-9559.
This endorsement was not provided by a client of Howard Bailey. This individual was compensated for this endorsement. For more information, visit howardbailey.com/TS1.
Listen up, guys. You are not going to believe this deal going on right now over at Universal Windows Direct. If you call today, 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. Schedule your totally free in-home estimate. When you do that, you're going to be eligible for every 2 windows you buy. You're going to get the next 2 free. And there's no limit. Buy 2, get 2. Buy 4, get 4. Buy 20, get 20. Plus, and this is an incredible deal, 0% financing for 60 months. That's right. That's 5 years, 0% financing. Now, restrictions apply. So to get all the information, call today, 317-659-7574. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when you call 317-659-7574 and say, hey, Rob Kendall from WIBC told me to call, they're going to take $250 off your project. Universal Windows Direct, UWD.com, UWD.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code EASY or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text EASY to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends and my family at Life Church. If you're feeling called to something different, perhaps it's a new church home or even a first church home. And if that's you, why not check out Life Church? You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And over the years, many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that. And I think one of them is at Life Church, you're so much more than just a number. You're an individual. Life Church is warm. They're welcoming. They've got campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus amazing online services. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com.
During much of Indiana's history, communicating on the telephone with the deaf or hard of hearing was nearly impossible. Friends and loved ones couldn't stay in touch, so the hard of hearing became isolated. Today, those with hearing loss have equal access with the CapTel caption telephone from Relay Indiana and can keep their independence. Relay Indiana allows a caller to read what the other party is saying. This advanced technology keeps Hoosiers connected so that everyone can contribute to Indiana's productive future. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
Heat and cool with nearly geothermal efficiency in places you can't fit ductwork with Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits.
Just go to AbsoluteComfort.org. That's AbsoluteComfort.org.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
If you're just joining us, last segment, Rob read a letter that he wrote to himself in high school. And I keep thinking about how you described your future wife.
Yeah.
She's going to be nice. She's going to love me for who I am, and she's going to be hot.
Yeah.
Not a great conversationalist, not someone I'll have common interest with, not a partner who will support me and I'll support her. She's going to be hot.
That's right.
Yeah.
Checked all my boxes.
Yeah. Spoken like a true 17-year-old.
And I, look, like I said, I am amazed at how true to myself I always remained.
Yeah. I'm surprised by that whole letter.
And
that you started it out with, I'm going to be famous. Yeah. Well.
And I closed with, you are so talented.
You are so talented.
No one loves me more than me.
I guess so.
Hey, so I had a little run-in at the Kroger's yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I was there, I think we talked about earlier, I was buying the $99,000 bottle of baby formula.
Food, yeah.
Freaking
Is it formula or was it food?
It's formula.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was wearing my I Hate Rob Kendall shirt.
Yeah.
And which you can get at store.hammerandnigel.com if you'd like to have one, or you can get an I Love Rob Kendall shirt. And so I'm walking out of the store, and this lady looks right at me, looks at my shirt, and starts laughing and goes, "That's a great shirt," and then just goes on her merry way.
Yeah, but she didn't know that you were the Rob Kendall.
Well, this is my
shirt.
question.
Yeah.
She clearly read the shirt and was laughing, so she acknowledged, like, okay, that is an acknowledgement, right? Like, if it said, I hate Peter Davis, like, is she going to, like, so that would appear to be that she knows who Rob Kendall is based on the fact that she read the shirt and is laughing. Yet she didn't look at me and go, I love your show, or I hate you.
Acknowledge that
I want
you are,
to
in
rot
fact,
in hell.
Rob Kendall.
I hate you with every fiber of my being. I think you're like nothing.
Yeah.
But she would appear to know enough to know the shirt.
I don't know. Maybe she just liked the emoji on it.
She just liked that it said, I hate someone, some stranger?
Yeah.
You know, are we that angry as a society now?
Possibly.
You see a shirt that says, I hate.
She didn't know that you were the man referred to on the shirt.
How could she not, though?
Honestly, how could she not?
Right.
Doesn't she know who you are?
I mean,
total
if she
stranger
knew enough to engage with the shirt, how How could she not know the person behind the shirt?
Maybe she just was liking the message that you were just putting it out there.
That I hate Rob Kendall.
Yeah.
And she hates him too.
Yeah. Well, how did you end your letter?
You are so talented.
Clearly, you're not hating Rob Kendall. So I don't know.
Isn't that odd? That is a little strange, right?
Yeah. Maybe she liked the color of it because it's
your
red.
Your red shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see many of those red shirts out there.
I don't know. I think she just was commenting on the emoji on it because it's got the angry face.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a great shirt because it has an angry emoji face on it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe she was thinking there are some people that I would like to name on a T-shirt.
I'm not getting anything out of you at this segment, so I'll go to Kevin.
I think she knew who you were.
Yes, right?
But she obviously doesn't know what you look like.
Because we're not on YouTube where people can view us every
right.
day.
She hasn't caught on to the YouTube stream yet. So I think she knows who you are or she's heard of you. And she was just agreeing like, yeah, I hate him too.
But then I thought about stopping her because I needed to know more, but then she kind of went the other way because I wanted to say you
like the shirt.
There's more to this conversation.
You like the shirt, hate the guy.
Do you actually hate me, or you think it's clever because I'm so arrogant and self-absorbed that I'm willing to wear a shirt that says I hate myself?
Maybe that's it. Maybe she knew it was you and she thought it was funny that you were wearing the shirt that says you hated you.
She would definitely want to talk to you more though.
Right.
And
not if she hates him.
That's my point. And that would have made me feel even better about it if she thought it was hilarious that I was wearing a shirt that said I hated myself and she hates me. Because in Brownsburg, it's like 65-35. 65 love me. 35 would totally light me on fire if they thought they could get away with it. And so I'm always curious to know which camp somebody falls into with that. And I probably should have
I think you know. I think you know she hates you.
No, she wouldn't have acknowledged me because it would anger. If she hated me, she would hate that I'm basically neutralized the hate on me by making fun of the people who hate me, which is basically what the shirt is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
So with the self-deprecating humor, you're okay.
But she doesn't know what you look like.
If you are the lady at the Kroger yesterday who laughed at the guy in the I Hate Rob Kendall shirt, at Robin Kendall on Twitter or rob@wibc.com, or you can call the hotline, 317-684-8444. Let us know why you were laughing at that shirt because I need to know.
It's a funny shirt, that's why. Even funnier that you're wearing it out in public.
Yeah.
Like you do here in the station. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, a dead president in Iran and ultimatums in Israel. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Michaelis presents Password. The word is basement.
Okay. Wet.
Rain.
Leaky.
Faucet.
Stinky.
Socks.
Moldy.
Underwear.
What? It's basement. Really? Moldy underwear?
Well, sometimes.
Ew. I did not need to know that.
Basement waterproofing and French drains. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Make it Michaelis.
Come on, take your basement back. 844-FIX-INDY.
It is more important than ever to hire the right agent to sell your home to maximize its sales price. That is why I recommend Mark Dietl. Mark and his team have the plan and experience to sell your home fast for maximum cash. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades to sell your home. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Jim and Jean in Whitestown had to say about working with Mark Dietl. Our 18-acre horse farm was a lot to manage, and we were ready to downsize. But selling a horse farm is unique. It takes the right agent and the right buyer, so we hired Mark Dietl.
Mark aggressively marketed the property and found the right buyer with a super quick close. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Get ready for storm season, because you know as well as I do, storms in Indiana can be fierce and they can come out of nowhere. So don't wait for a leak to have your roof inspected. Have peace of mind about your roof being able to handle any storm. Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com provides free inspections and can spot potential issues before they turn into costly repairs. Whether you're looking for a siding replacement after a strong wind or a roof replacement after a hailstorm, Moss Roofing has options that fit any budget. Just ask Moss Roofing about their payment plans. No matter your situation, Moss Roofing has you covered with a job done right every single time. I love that. That's very funny. Contact Moss Roofing today. 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
Sinus pressure, congestion, snoring, being unable to sleep, being unable to breathe. Yep, it's another sinus infection. You've Googled, watched videos, tried over-the-counter sprays, medications, and home remedies, but nothing ever works. There must be some kind of treatment that can help, right? Indianapolis Sinus Center understands how draining it can be when you try treatment after treatment without any relief. That's why they've been serving and treating the community for over 50 years. Indianapolis Sinus Center has performed thousands of procedures and helped thousands of patients find lasting relief they didn't know was possible. Patients like you. If you've had enough of sinus pain, pressure, and congestion, schedule a visit with Indianapolis Sinus Center today. Call 317-528-9650 and take the first step toward breathing easy. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650, or visit IndianapolisSinusCenter.com.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com. No inspection, no fuss. We only need to see it once. The IndyHomebuyer.com. Problem properties, tenants don't pay. Just hand us some keys and your problems go away. Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com. Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com.
No matter your reason for selling, theindyhomebuyer.com will pay cash for your house in any condition. If you're dealing with deadbeat tenants, big repairs, or inheritance, theindyhomebuyer.com is the solution. No hassle, no inspections. Theindyhomebuyer.com.
Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com. Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
Summer is nearly here. It is a beautiful day today in Indianapolis. Plenty of people getting ready to leave town, take some time off, get away from it all very soon, making their summer vacation plans. However, Rob,
yes,
did you know 80% of Americans think there is a distinct difference between a trip and a vacation?
So I probably, because you had initially told me, here's what we're going to talk about in this segment. And I said, well, what the hell's the difference?
Right.
And then I thought about it, and I thought I can probably see why people would see a difference between a trip and a vacation. The more, my instant response was not the one I have now several minutes later.
Oh, okay. Well, you have to tell me what your instant response was.
Well, my instant response was I just didn't see the difference. Like if I'm going on a trip, however, a vacation seems perhaps a longer event. It seems like something that is a more sustained thing, perhaps with an itinerary of some sort.
Yep.
A trip sounds like something you're there, you do something specific, and then you return from your destination of origin.
Well, you're really
destination.
close.
Is that even a right phrase? Destination of origin. Wherever you started from.
Right, wherever you came from.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, so they say that vacation is mostly referred to as strictly for relaxation.
Yeah.
Whereas a trip is travel for purpose, such as an event, like you said, or getting out of your hometown. So 59% of people think that a vacation begins when you breathe in the ocean air or when you check into a hotel.
Oh, yeah. That's a vacation.
That's when you get into vacation mode, right? Lots of people opting to drive to their destinations this year, 60%. And a lot of them say it's because they're hoping to spend more time bonding with their travel companions. Almost 77% said they're going to travel by car and drive to their destination, which makes it more enjoyable. Now, you and I totally agree on this.
Yeah.
That we'd rather drive than fly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I hate leaving. I get nervous when I leave, which is why I rarely ever leave. I mean, I went. So by that standard, does it say like what the time? Is there a time list? Like what would constitute a vacation
versus a trip?
Yeah. Is there any specifics in there about that?
Well, they don't give a specific amount of time, but a trip is normally referred to as maybe a long weekend.
Yeah.
Whereas a vacation is you're gone for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, I probably went. I don't know. I probably went 10 to 15 years without going on what someone would qualify as a vacation. And there's some reasons behind that. I'm not necessarily proud of them. And you know me, Casey, life, as we talked about earlier in this hour, when I read my letter to myself from high school, life is all about personal growth. And,
or maybe lack of.
Lack thereof.
You never know.
But yeah, I mean, to me, a vacation... The idea of a vacation always just worried me because there was so much I had to have done. There was just so because I was self-employed, I owned a business, and the whole time I'd be gone. I was thinking the things that I should be doing that I'm not doing, and so it always made me nervous to be gone for long periods of time. So I went probably, I would guess, 10 to 15 years without ever going. Although I kind of was on a permanent vacation based on the fact that I had a place near the Atlantic Ocean,
right,
and a place in the Midwest,
right.
I had many friends in many ports, Casey.
Right. I always found that you had to work double time to leave to go on the vacation. It was like the days before, including work and home.
Exactly,
because you got to make sure all the laundry's done at home. And I was the type of person where the house had to be clean because I didn't want to come back to a dirty house.
It was more work to go on vacation.
You think so? But
it was more work to go on vacation than actually not to go on vacation, than to go to work.
Then once you're there, though, it's okay. It's pretty good.
You got to remember, though, in the for a self-employed person, and one of the things that I've been doing when I found that letter that we read earlier is I've been shredding old documents, and I've been kind of reviewing my life. And I realized how I basically, for about 10 years, I would say, from ages 22 to 32, I was on a permanent vacation. Like the things I bought and the things that I did and the things that I spent my money on, like it was just, I was looking through old credit card receipts and it was just like Kilroy's, brothers. It was like,
nice.
And then there were some where you're like, why did I have a hotel? Oh, I remember that one.
No. Well, I'm curious, why did you keep those receipts?
I kept everything because of tax write-offs.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, you had business lunches or whatever.
Kilroy's,
but, I mean, there were some of them in there that weren't, but I'm saying, I kept everything. Because if at any time, the
IRS came knocking, you were ready.
What do they say, too? I have had these going back almost 20 years. What are you supposed to keep? Is it 10? I mean, I'm still way past 10. I've been shredding like a maniac, but I probably have only shredded.
It's only 5 years.
Is it 5 years?
I think so.
Well, I keep way beyond that, but it was so funny. Literally, Casey, I have 3 giant trash bags of accurately and properly shredded. Now I got to figure out what to do with them.
Right.
but it was like, oh my gosh, and I haven't even made a dent.
And that's when they're already shredded and put into trash bags.
Yeah, that's right.
What were you doing with them before?
Hoarding, Casey. I was hoarding. I have a problem with letting go of just about anything, as you know. However, my wife threatened to leave me if I didn't rectify this situation, so now it's done. But it is interesting to look back on your life and go, wow, I was on a permanent vacation.
did you ever get audited? Like you kept these receipts because you were afraid that would happen?
Well, no. And here's the thing I found, and my accountant told me this years ago. If you have a respected accountant and you are above board, which I always was, I'm a notorious rule follower, Casey.
Sure.
I hate the people who make the rules, but I am a notorious rule follower.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid of being audited that I followed it to the letter. I was told my accountant, I was like, don't take any risks, don't whatever. I'd rather just pay more and be, secure. But he told me years ago, he said, unless you were an income earner of a certain level or you had some egregious thing on your tax return, you're not even worth the time. Like Wesley Snipes, wasn't he the guy who didn't file a tax return or something like that? Like that's gonna red flag. Or if there's some egregious thing where I am owed $17,000 back. But if you are a person within reason and you have documentation and they look at your lifestyle and here's the house you live in and here's what your report says.
They're not going to question
They're largely going to leave you alone. But this is why, Casey, and this is what sucks about our tax code. You have to, I've spent the last several days actually, this is why it took me so long to shred everything, like reading old tax returns. Yes, I was reading old tax returns going, oh, that's super interesting. Oh, yeah, I remember that. And it's so interesting. Like I'm reading these tax returns going, I lived this life, and when you try to read the tax code and how it looks on a tax return, if you were a business owner, which of course, I basically no longer am today, but you're just going, what is a K9 J5 37? I don't even know what that is.
It's the TK421. That's what it is, keeping you safe. All right, well, are you planning any summer vacations to get away
Casey,
from
you
all
and
that?
your drugs. I have an 11-month-old. Am I planning any summer vacations? I'm planning to fight Biden inflation. That means keeping my ass right where it is.
Yeah, some people are still planning, and for their getaways, let's see, most are going to stay at a hotel, followed by a rental home, which, Kevin just did. He just rented a home. And lastly, they stay with a family member. Now, you could go on vacation right next door.
I sure could. My thing about the vacation was, and I was always looking for, this is probably a terrible phrase to use, but it's the first thing that came to mind, bang for my buck, Casey.
Well, sure.
And so for me, if I took a vacation somewhere as a single unmarried person, that seemed like a lot of investment for not a lot of
bang for your buck,
guaranteed results, shall we say. So and again, it's amazing the things you look at in the past go, remember going there? I just felt like 1 or 2 day trips, seeing as much of the country as I possibly could. That was the better investment.
So when most people travel, majority of them keep their clothing in their suitcase the entire time. More than half. And then there's some people that do use the dresser or the closet. Now, I'm one of those people. When I go on a trip, everything just stays right there in the suitcase.
I never even had a suitcase. I had one of those duffel bags. And, that was the other nice thing about doing 2 or 3 day trips.
Well, that's good.
You can put
that bends to whatever sort of container it needs to go into.
Totally. I mean, it was in a duffel bag. You could put your shampoo and your soap and your toothbrush and toothpaste, deodorant, all in the little side compartments. And then you put a couple shirts and in the main thing, and then you're out. That's what's in your car, sister. You're ready to rock and roll.
Okay, so we have Memorial Day weekend coming up, and 43% of people prefer to go on a holiday weekend versus an off-holiday weekend, and they say that it's better to go on off-holiday weekends because things are less crowded.
Totally. 100%. Why would you want to deal with all those people?
But you're right on cue with your comment about inflation. 9 in 10 people said that the cost of inflation and the economy will impact their plans.
Where am I going to go with the 11-month-old, Casey? Where am I going to go?
Don't go to Las Vegas. That's not the city for them.
I told my wife when we went on our honeymoon there, I said, get it out of your system, sister, wherever you want to go or whatever you want to do, because this is about 5 years worth of vacationing. And she knew that when she married me, so she can't complain.
She agreed to that deal. All right, well, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening. This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
That moment when you realize you've got a plumbing problem, a real pipe-bursting, clogged-up tight, somebody-get-all-the-towels, full-on flush fiasco. But fear not, there's an expert for that.
Trust your local plumbing experts at